It's too early. It's too early. But that's okay. My gym workout was phenomenal. Before I went home, I decided to stop over at my mother's house. I haven't seen my mother in 2 months. I know she's going to be very surprised to see me. I can't wait. What the? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The first thing I noticed was this person's skin. What is going on? Uncomplicated, untreated skin? Who is this guy? I had to take a step back, but then I realized it was my brother. But look at his skin. Have you guys ever seen anything like that? I had to take a closer look and figure out what was going on. Best believe I crept up on him. Peep this. I'm still looking at his skin, trying to figure out how did we get here. I could do nothing but shake my head. He could definitely use my help. I had to get to the bottom of this. He definitely needed some game about his skin. I'm just staring at it, like looking at it. Come on, bro. I knew what to do. I had to reach in my bag and get that Tej Hanley. Uncomplicated skincare for men. Bro, this is why I'm excited to have Tej Hanley as the sponsor of today's video. They have helped me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which comes with all the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and the grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My brother was so excited. My favorite part about Tej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really make the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin easy. Shout out to Tej Hanley. And because Tej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click the first link in the description, and not only will you get Tej Hanley for the best possible price, but they'll also give you a free gift with your first box. Click that link and get started today for just $30. Feel the Tej. Let the Tej force be with you.
What's going on? What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another LAPEEF-ING Sunday. We got the whole cast in the house, plus some new people, new faces. So what's going on? I want to introduce everybody. We got Bruiser.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
What's going on? We got Quest in the middle of getting a little shape up. What's going on, Quest? Getting his eyebrows arched right now. I see you.
Nah, what's happening? What's happening? You know, got to get tightened up for this birthday bash tonight.
That's right. That's right. Happy birthday to our homeboy Quest. It's his 21st birthday. Shout out to him.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
And we got CC. Welcome to the show, CC.
Happy to be here.
Story to tell. What's going on, Jay?
How y'all doing? What's going on?
Tay in the house. Tay, what's going on?
Hello. It's going good.
Kelly, what's going on? Rio, what's going on? Miss Taken, how y'all doing today?
Hi. Good. Glad to be here.
It's a little chic critique takeover going on around here. Man. What's going on with this?
They're gonna bring the Friday energy.
Hey, I'll go with that Friday energy. You know, we got one rule, like we said. Tay, Miss Taken, CC, we got one rule here on LAPEEF Sundays. It is no Thursday energy. Okay, we like to keep that strong. We like to keep that lit. Jay know what I'm talking about. So you know, this is the holy day. All right, so we're gonna keep this going. But how y'all doing, man? We missed our show last week, so how's everybody doing?
Good, and happy birthday, Quest.
You know, I appreciate that love. Shit, I'm doing good. Hell, I ain't on Thursdays no more. I can't take it. I can't take the energy. So now, you know, my week is a little bit lighter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Quest, what you got going on for your birthday again? Let the people know what's the night looking like.
Hey, look, if you in the Tampa area, man, come on out to 7th and Grove, right? That's ours tonight. You know what I'm saying? And we going up. It's a black-owned spot. It's a super dope spot. It's probably like one of the anchors in the community, I would suggest, right?
Yes.
So we are from 5:30 to 10. We at 7th and Grove, and then after that, we're gonna slide over to this spot called the Exchange. We're gonna be there from 10 to 1. Liver, please don't fail me. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's right. Start drinking. Hey, start drinking your water now. Okay, get you a couple bottles in before you get out there. Make sure you get your sandwich or something. You know what I mean? Don't go too hard.
What
He
state
good. He got that
you
live
in?
21. He good.
What state
And
you
I
in?
got some live 21 on deck.
Florida.
So you know, my drink recovery.
Yeah.
Right. You gotta get your electrolytes right before you
He's
get
not
there.
wrong. 7th and Grove is like one of my favorite spots. They have like the best food too. They're like upscale soul food. It's so nice.
Yeah, I think so. It's
Indeed.
nice.
Big shout out to 7 and Grove. Love y'all, man. Whole family, whole campaign.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. How old you turn, Quest?
Believe
Yeah,
it
that
or
way we
not,
know
I'm
our
actually
seniority,
I'm
right
about to be
here.
40, man.
That's a blessing, bro. Hey, happy birthday again, man. Some
That's a
of us,
blessing, bro.
man, as we
Word.
get older, we start to feel weird about getting older, but you know, we age, you know, like fine wine. So
You dig me. You know what I'm saying? I'm loving this aging. Shit.
Yeah.
My wife said, nigga, you getting finer the older you get.
I'm sure we're much better at 40 than we are at 20. So hey,
For sure. For sure. Where's Hank?
I think Hank has something to do. I think you know, I'm sure his sons are in we lost Kelly. But okay, there she go. I think Hank's sons might be in a tournament or something like that. I just came from my son's football game this morning. That's why I was a little behind. You know, we don't ever start on time here on Lapeef Sunday. But yeah, I think Hank is, you know, out with the boys right now. So but shout out to him.
But he left me a message. Y'all know what the message is, right? Kelly, you know what the message is? Hank
No
left?
Thursday energy.
That and a lot of these hoes.
That's gonna be your line today. I need you to represent well, Jade. Yep.
Hey, right, Jay. That's on you now. Anytime you hear some cap going on and Quest is off the camera, we need you to call that out ASAP.
Stop the cap.
There you go. All right. Well, hey, let's get right into it. You know, we got a few topics for today, and as y'all see with the thumbnail, you know, we're gonna get to a nice little point. But the first things up, you know, is if you listen long enough, people tend to reveal who they truly are in the beginning. So I know a lot of times we like to think that, you know, we might run into somebody and we're meeting their representative. Isn't that what they always say? Like, put your best foot forward or whatever it is. But you know, these days, I feel like people are maybe not as good as hiding who they are like they once used to be, or their professional self and their personal self can be, you know, the line there is real blurred nowadays, especially the younger you get. So, you know, just what do y'all think when it comes to that? You know, in terms of when you meet people, you know, do you trust to see who they really are? Or, you know, do you think people are more deceptive now than ever? And are they good at it? Or is it just obvious liars going on?
I think the statement down there should say, if you listen carefully enough, people tend to reveal who they are in the beginning, right? So I want to say that, but I actually kind of want to hear what other people have to say on that. I've experienced a couple things. I'll probably tell you some stories, but I'll let y'all have it right quick.
Story time with Quest.
So I think people are like masters at deception. Am I echoing?
No, I think you're good.
Oh, I'm good. All right. I think people are masters at deception. Although I think you can figure people out a lot quicker nowadays because the receipts and the internet and the, you know, degrees of separation are a lot smaller now. So I think it's easier. Where back in the day, you know, a person could deceive for a long time because now, yo, they'll pull you up on the internet day 3, like, yo, this is who they really are. This is his wife. This is his kid. You know what I mean? Like, this is where she worked, you know, so. But I think as we get older, we get smarter about what questions to ask. You know what I mean? Like, somebody can, you know, if you allow it, yeah, they can hide who they are. But if you ask the particular questions that you need to ask to unknowingly reveal who they are, and that's the thing, you have to ask the questions where they don't know that they're revealing who they are. But so I think if you do that well enough, or you know what questions to ask, you'll be good.
Do you think that people are judged for their personality like they once was? You know, we kind of live in a society of like, accept me for who I am. And if you can't handle me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best kind of thing. Like, are people even being judged the same way? Because, you know, you ask somebody a question and their answer is something that sounds selfish or self-centered. You might know right away, okay, this person might be a narcissist or something like that. But isn't that more on us to accept that person versus that person having to change?
You're switching up the question now, Kyle. Which one are we?
Well, you know, if you listen long enough, people tend to reveal themselves. Like, once they reveal themselves, now what? Like, you know, who is it on to adjust themselves accordingly.
But it says in the beginning, in the beginning, you don't have to accept anyone or anything. In fact, you're vetting, right? So you don't have any obligation to them. You're trying to figure out whether or not this is going to work and whether or not you want this person to have space in your life. And I think that that's how we should look at it. We don't have to accept anything. We start compromising. When people are unable to change, then we start resenting things and we start having regrets. So when they show us who they are, and somebody also said when we listen carefully and also when we ask the right questions, I'll even ask, that's our opportunity to kind of figure this person out, so to speak.
Well,
it'll still come with time, but nevertheless, go ahead.
I was going to say that I think beyond just listening long enough, I think you need to observe long enough, because people can say one thing but do something else. So I would believe that both of those things need to happen simultaneously. You listen and observe, and that way you can get a better picture of if the person says who they say they are.
I agree with that. And I don't think that I think that some people think that they're deceptive, but if you're really paying attention to the person that you're dealing with, and as far as Mistaken said, I agree with that. Like watching their actions, I think it's carefully listening and also the time to make sure their actions are lining up with what they said to you. But I personally think a lot of, especially women, no offense, are afraid to ask the hard questions. Like you could point blank someone, but it's like, I'm almost afraid of the response I might get. Like, what if he says he's not interested? What if he says he just wants to sleep with me? Am I prepared to walk away? So I think a lot of people don't ask the questions that they should be asking in the beginning because they're afraid to lose or the response that they're going to get from the man. So.
I agree with that, Kelly, but what's the worst that could happen? He says, no, you're not in my life anyway. So I don't know why people put so much emphasis on asking harder questions. Like, I'm not going to really lose sleep. My bills are still going to get paid. That's the way I look at it. It might be a little bit different for other people, but rejection to me in the initial stage is not as hard as you get down the road. And now you were somebody who's been lying to you from the very beginning. And now you're 6 months in and it's like, no, you're just a jump off, sis. I'm sorry. It's time for you to realize that. And you're going to have to deal with those emotions a little bit differently. But I agree with everything the panel said as far as vetting and asking those difficult questions and making sure that this person that you are talking to is someone that you didn't want in your life. They have the right energy, that you guys are going in the same direction. I think those hard questions you should be strong enough to ask. And if you're not, then you need to delve a little deeper within yourself.
I agree, but I've had conversations with women. They're like, I don't know if he likes me. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know how he feels. I was like, well, why don't you just ask him? Well, what if he says he doesn't like me? Then walk away, let it go. Like, find out so you're not wasting your time. But I've had countless women have these conversations. Like, why don't you just ask? Just put it out there and see what he says. And she's like, well, I don't think they're going to tell you the truth, really.
I think rejection for women is a little different than it is for men. Like men, again, we getting that all day long in most cases. That's true. With women, I think it's a little more like you're usually being, chased versus when this, you have this time where you're sitting here and you don't want to hear it. You probably know it internally. You probably like, he's not feeling me, because you sense it, but you don't want to hear the truth, when, like you said, those questions need to be
know.
Right.
You know what? Can I say something? I don't think, most people, they don't really show you their true selves. It's when you first meet, if you really like someone, especially if you really like someone, you want to, maybe you're kind of giving off a different type of you until you get a little bit more comfortable.
A representative.
Yeah.
Right. Once you're like in this honeymoon stage, once you get a little bit more comfortable, then you start slowly, showing your true selves. I think that's what a lot of people, male or female.
Do you think that people these days are patient enough to get to a point where, you're trying to enjoy this person while still vetting them and still maybe asking certain questions. You know, a lot of people want to know, or at least, you know, I've been out the game a long time, so maybe I might be speaking out of more naive than anything, but I would imagine that, you know, you're trying to vet a person to see if you want to be in a relationship with them, but you also want to be in a relationship quickly. Like you want to know immediately, like, oh, what are we? Or, you know, at least a person that you really care about. So I just wonder, are people even patient enough to let a relationship kind of build in the beginning? You know, let's say the first 2 months, like what kind of questions do you ask in the first week? Is it even appropriate to ask like super hard questions, super personal questions? Like as soon as you meet them, you know, they may not even be comfortable talking about that with you yet.
You know, I think everybody should have like maybe 3 to 5 main questions, something that's important to themselves to ask whatever date they go on. Just ask those 3 questions. It's always 3 questions where you could really get to know a lot about someone.
Okay, this is good. Can I hear what your 5 questions would be?
Or your top 2.
See,
I'm saying
top three.
Hold on, top 3. I need at least top 3.
Yeah, top 3.
Oh man.
What are these important things to you, Tay?
I would ask them about their goals. Like that's important.
I asked Tay, Kelly. Come on now. We're not doing Thursdays yet.
Oh man. Okay, if I was in the dating game, okay. Oh my God, that's kind of hard. It's like you have to really sit and think.
So, are you single, Tay? Or you?
No.
Are you married or you dating?
I'm married.
Okay, so all right, you've been out the game, so I can see how it's kind of you wouldn't have those just off the top. Is
she
there
should,
anybody that's on the panel?
Because she's been married.
Because Cece, I did notice you kind of nodded when she said, "I think we should have 3 to 5 questions." Cece, are you single?
I am single.
Do you have your 3 to 5 questions?
I do have 3 to 5 questions.
I would love to hear them.
You would love to hear my 3 to 5 questions. Okay, so one of my main questions is because I want a family, so that is a non-negotiable for me. So, are you somebody who wants to have children? Do you already have children? What's your family dynamic look like to you? Your financial literacy responsibility. I don't mind having financial questions. I'm not a person to be like, so what's your credit score on day 1? But I do want to know your understanding of money management. So I'll ask certain questions. All these kids are so overwhelming. Sorry, side note. Hi, so cute. Anyway, so I do ask questions about financial literacy, and then also I'll ask personality questions. I'll ask your relationship with your family. If you do have a ex-wife, or if you do have an ex-girlfriend, if you have a baby mama, what's your relationship with that baby's mother? How are you with your children? These are all questions that kind of tear off as you go in conversation, because I think character is very important. And that's I guess 3 off the top of my head. But yeah, I do ask more difficult questions on day 1 because I don't have time to fluff around and be like, "Oh, you make me feel good."
So is I don't know.
Can I add 2 questions? Can I add 2 questions? And this is what I think women should ask nowadays.
Absolutely.
Are you married? And did you have a baby 2 weeks ago? I think y'all need to throw that into your questions.
You know what?
That slips by.
Excuse me? Ask that. No, you do have. I do ask. That's one of the questions I do ask. Are you single? And is there anybody in your life who feels like you are in a relationship with them? Because that's the same. It's the same thing. You have somebody you're stringing along. I need to know what kind of baggage you have there. And then yes, if you had a kid 2 weeks ago, I'm gonna ask you if you have kids. How old are they? How old are your children? So, because that also makes
2 weeks old.
It makes me think about, okay, well, if I do get in a relationship with this person, then this is also another responsibility in that relationship. So are they paying child support? That's a financial conversation. That's a 2-week.
That's so serious. That's
well,
so
I mean,
serious.
but Tay, I am 36 years old. I want to know these things. Okay,
I think
question.
I think Cece is right to, especially at this point in her life right now. I think she's spot on to be, very direct, because and don't take this the wrong way, but it is the truth though. You don't have time to waste at this point, right? So I think
would it be on day 1?
I don't take offense to that. On date,
Okay.
I guess
But
it
I also
depends.
think you're having conversations before you go on a date. You can
Yeah.
have talks on the phone. It doesn't have to be like,
I don't-
now that we're here, I'm ready to interview you.
Right.
Do you have
Right, no,
children?
no.
Like,
Right.
Well, hold on,
Like,
hold on. So are
talking.
these in person? Like if we're gonna stick to having like 3 main questions, are these questions that you're asking in person? Does it matter? Or is this like a, hey, what are your goals in life over text message, or what do you think?
I think within the first week of conversation, you should get your non-negotiables answered. Like, you should know, am I going to waste time with this person or not? Is this going to be an investment of my time or a waste of my time? So there are certain things I ask before I even go on a date with you, because I need to know, like,
And I
certain things that are
especially,
not.
So how old are you, Kelly?
You chill with the age thing.
Come on, like,
But,
I mean,
25 years old, somewhere in there, right, Kelly?
Listen, hey, let me just put this out here to all the ladies that's watching, right? And I know y'all ask, why y'all always asking people's age? Because it's pertinent to the fucking conversation, ladies. It is, right? If CC, she just came off with it, right? It wasn't no big deal to her. But if CC was 45, it would change everything that she's fucking talking about, right? And if you were fucking 30, Kelly, or 28, it would change everything we're talking about. So it does matter, ladies, when we ask your age when it comes to the conversation. I only ask, Kelly, is are you very direct because are you climbing in age?
I'm direct because I don't think you should waste time. That's why I'm direct. I feel like you can waste money, but you can't waste time.
So
I can
how
always
old are
make
you?
more money, but I
How old
can't
are
get
you?
my time back. And I
So
don't want to give
how
it to
old are you, Kelly?
someone. Oh my gosh. I was like this when I was younger. It has nothing to do with my age.
Okay.
You know
I
what
have a
you can
question.
do? You know what you can
Well,
do?
I would also say that it matters where you meet them, because in an online dating forward era that we're in, a lot of these questions could be asked before you even meet them. Like, you're chatting with them online, you're like, okay, yeah, so XYZ. I have people who have sent me dissertations, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of questions. Like, right off the bat, before I even go on a date with you, I want to know these things, because I'm not sitting on a date with you if I know it's not going anywhere.
I don't
Bruiser,
I have a question
let me
too.
get you in. Yeah, go ahead,
On a
Bruiser.
date.
I don't think it's fair to say you wasting time whenever you vetting somebody. I think everybody going into the dating arena should allot some time to waste, because you never know what you're gonna run into.
Well, men can
So
say that.
I think
You
the
guys
period.
see-
Hold on.
Let me jump in here real quick, right?
I think the period when you're getting to know somebody or you're trying to get information from somebody, you should allot some time in your life to be able to do that with whoever you encounter.
Well, I don't think
But
that's
as
a
far as
waste.
wasting time, I think the wasting time period come into the fact whenever you start to discover the person's not what they cracked up to be. At that point, then you can pull yourself back, or you can pull back and try to get more information. But as far as getting to know somebody,
So how
asking
long,
these type
Bruiser?
of questions, as far as your
How long?
whatever your
30
how
days.
long?
How long? Hold on, ladies. How long, Bruiser?
30 days.
How long? I don't think
Yes.
I don't think you can put a time on it. I think it's whatever.
Wait.
Whenever they
no.
become the open, whenever they start to open up to you to be truthful in the conversation, I
30
think
days.
that's enough time to give them. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't gonna be straightforward with you. Whenever, like Tay said, everybody's gonna have their best foot forward. Nobody's gonna reveal their skeletons or whatever you want to call it. Ain't nobody gonna reveal themselves like that. They don't know you. They don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? They just trying to have a good time for the first date or the first week or whatever. And then
Bruiser,
as
let
they
me ask
slowly
you
get
this.
to know you,
Here's the
they start to
problem
open
with
up.
what you're saying,
Let me finish
Bruiser.
asking them the
problem with what
question.
you're
Let
saying
me finish asking Bruiser the questions. Bruiser, do you suggest that somebody that's climbing in age, somebody that's like 36, 37, 38 years old, they allot all this time when, like, if they're really out here seeking a husband, they're giving time to a person that, if you like one thing, let's say for example, that one thing is this nigga got 45 felonies, nigga. If you find that shit out off the rip, is there any need for us to sit back and try to
Well, if that's according to that particular person's preference and who they want in a person, if that's a deal breaker, then yeah, they should remove themselves from the situation.
So that's why she has a series of questions, the initial ones, right?
But she never.
Now,
but my whole argument was around. It wasn't a waste of time.
So the reason
No,
I
but
said
that's
it's a waste of
That's what
time
I'm
is
saying.
because
Categorizing it as a waste of time, I think is disingenuous. I think anytime you take to try to figure somebody out, I don't think it's a waste. I think you actually using your time wisely.
it's not
Because you don't want to run into
saying
something.
wasting time is
because it's
not
not
the
going
right
anywhere.
way of entering.
You can
don't
spend
wanna...
time, you can waste time, and you can invest time. But if it's not going anywhere, you're wasting it. The reason I said it's a waste of time is because if you guys say that women aren't supposed to date more than one man at a time, am I correct in that? I've heard that said multiple times on the panel. You're supposed to date one guy at a time and focus in on him. So what if I'm dating one guy at a time, I focus in, and 2 months later I found out he ain't shit, and then okay, next date this one guy at a time. You do that 5 times, that's a year gone. So that is a waste of time.
That's why you date more, multiple.
That's what I'm saying.
Time.
But according to men, women aren't supposed to. That works for men because you guys are out there dating 5 and 6 women at a time, vetting multiple people at the same time. But women aren't supposed to. We're supposed to hone in on one guy. So
okay, so what's the reality though? I
what?
get what they're not supposed to do, but what's the reality?
The reality
you are
is
dating, you are vetting more people at a time, right?
The reality is you ask your questions.
You should. That's what dating is, isn't it? Like if you're single, you're provided the opportunity to meet people you can, and or if your goal is to vet for marriage, putting in one person at a slot, and depending on what age you are, like in your 20s is a little different because you do have more time. But as you're in your 30s and 40s, you know, I personally think that dating multiple people, that doesn't mean you're sleeping with multiple people. Those are two different things.
Yep.
If your goal is to vet someone to become a husband, you don't have enough time. So it is going to have to be multiple people. And you get rid of the ones that you're like, okay, now I'm narrowing this down. Like these are the 3 that I'm interested in, based on those questions that, you know, those specific questions that you're asking, you know, like things that, you know, you're going to look for in terms of a husband or, you know, as a husband. Based on those answers, then you're weaning out those other people, and then you can focus your energy on that one that aligns with those basic questions that you asked initially. And then you begin to invest the time to then begin vetting deeper.
Bruiser, let me give you
I agree with
of wasting time though. Wasting time would be you had a conversation with somebody, they absolutely don't meet your non-negotiables, but he looks really good. So I'm still going to spend some time trying to hang out with this man because he fits an image. That's wasting time. I get what you're saying on the flip side of you really don't know a person and, you know, maybe you shouldn't rule them out so quickly. Yeah, I agree with that. Like you really won't get to know somebody on a deeper level until you spend more time with them. But I think there's a fine line between I'm asking you these questions. You tell me straight up, I don't want any more kids. That chapter's done. Okay, well then you're not somebody for me. So I don't even have to pursue that. That's what I mean by wasting time.
I just wanted to second what Ms. Taken said about dating and how it should be, right? I think if we decide that dating means that we're going to be committed to a single person, then we're running the risk of that person not being a good fit. And then we feel as though time has been wasted because we've invested into one person who we really, truly didn't know. You know what I mean? And so if we're dating and we're being transparent with the people that we are dating, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with dating multiple people. I think it behooves you to do so.
The first couple of weeks, you know, you continue dating
sleeping with the person, because I know for me, what I thought dating meant was exactly that. You're meeting people, going out, hanging out, getting to know one another. But is it different now? Like I've been out of the game, you know, for a long time too. So, but my understanding of what dating was getting to know a person. But has that changed in the sense of dating is now synonymous with sleeping with the person?
No, when you get older, dating becomes, okay, what do I have to offer this man in your case? And in his case, the person you talk to, It's what can he bring to the table? What does he have to offer you? So if the vetting process shrinks whenever you know what questions to ask for and how do they align to what you prefer in marriage, how you want to identify in your role and how you want your man to identify in his role in the marriage. If you know how to articulate your questions around there, your questions is you ain't never wasting time. You just exposing people at that point and you just moving on. But it's okay to, get that conversation going so you can know. But the dating process when you get up in age, yeah, it comes to okay, what do we have to offer? What do we have to bring to the table?
Look, so here's what I'll say. Like, there are some things that, like, for example, I already had a daughter when I met my at the time girlfriend, who later became my wife or whatever. So,
she's beautiful, by the way. Good choice.
I appreciate that. I think she actually listening to the show in the background, so probably like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So when I first met her, I had a daughter, but like I done told the panel and I told y'all some in the chat, I already know what time it is. But when I first called her and I first started talking to her on the phone, like I told her exactly what I was on. Like, I'm looking for a wife, I done fucked them all. I ain't trying to fuck no more. I'm looking for a wife. I'm trying to be very serious about this shit, right? Very intentional, I do have a daughter, I think at the time the situation with me and my baby moms was like kind of volatile or whatever. It may have been okay or whatever, But I was like upfront with all that shit, all out the gate, because I ain't.
Day one.
You said what?
Day one. That's how you were.
On the first phone call, off the rip, and she would actually come out here and tell the exact same story. Like, and I actually remember where I was at, walking around, having a conversation with her. I'm like, if this is not the shit you want, please go fuck with somebody else, because I ain't it. I'm looking for something real. I'm looking for something serious. Like, I'm done with all the playing around in the streets type shit now. And this is what I got going on. So I say all that to say, be deliberate about this shit, people. Don't be stringing people along, That's why I always tell people, tell men specifically, tell women the fucking truth. If you just want some pussy, tell them you just want some pussy. I guarantee you'll be respected way more than you out here lying and doing goofy shit just to try to get some draws or whatever, right? That's how your cars get keyed up and fucking windows busted out. But if you keep it straight the fuck up, nigga, you ain't got to worry about that, right? Additionally, if you are on something where it's like, hey, I'm ready to settle down, I guarantee a lot of these women that ain't on that shit, they will fucking avoid you like the fucking plague, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So they ain't trying to waste your time neither when it comes to that specifically, right? And then stop leading with your pockets. I'm gonna just say that.
I agree with you.
There was one thing I wanted to ask on that point.
Go ahead.
So do you feel it was a little bit risky in the beginning, first phone call, to say I'm dating for marriage? And it's not that I disagree with what you said. What I'm having a difficult time with is some women hear what they want to hear, right? Mm-hmm. So you say I'm dating for marriage, they're thinking that you are dating them for marriage, right? And so they may not be the one. Luckily, yours was, right? Mm-hmm. So if asked the question, are you dating for marriage? Or if you volunteer that information, do you feel like it's important to follow up with, I'm not sure if that's you. However, you know what I mean? Just to be clear.
I got you. So yeah, like I may not have said it exactly how I said it to her on the phone, but I let her know, hey, I'm being very intentional about my dating. Like, my goal is to be married to somebody, you know, it was more or less that type of conversation. Not like, hey girl, I'm trying to marry you. You know what I mean? Not on the first phone call, you know what I'm saying? Because we didn't fully know each other either, right? So I think it was more so along that line, right? Like, I'm dating intentionally for marriage. I'm not looking for fuck buddies. Yeah.
I agree with Quest. I've been on a date where it was just like that. Like, this is this. You're not the one for me. But I think you're great, but you're not the one for me because it's not what I'm looking for. So I would respect that so much more. And if I decide to continue to pursue this man, then that's completely on me to make that stupid decision. But I appreciate that approach more. Like, this is what I'm looking for. This is the direction I'm going. And if you fit it, you fit it. If you don't, you don't. Like, especially for somebody who's embracing time and my time being shortened, I appreciate that approach a lot more as a single person. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's my cup of tea.
That's a perfect approach, especially if you really like that person and they're bringing that up to you, because, you know, if you're really not feeling that person, I don't even think you would even mention that. Like, you know, this is what I'm looking, you know, I think it could go either way.
So I was going to say, even like for me, my experience with my husband, well, he wasn't my husband then, but it was that situation where he was straight up with me from the beginning. Like, I just got out of a relationship, you know, with my, you know, baby's mother. I'm not looking to settle down. I wanted him to be my man at the time, but he was honest to say, I'm not ready for a relationship. Like, you know, I enjoy the time that we spend, you know, you're cool people. I would like to keep hanging out, but I don't want a relationship. And at that point, he put the ball in my court because he was honest. And I had to decide, do I want to invest any more time into him, knowing that it may not necessarily lead to what I want, or move forward? And, you know, I kicked it for a little while and then decided that I'm going to move on, and, you know, and then, you know, kind of worked his way back around, and we ended up, you know, together. But what I can say is, from him starting our relationship off under the foundation of trust, because I'll say honesty, because he was so honest and upfront with me, it actually made me trust him more, because I know that, you know, that foundation was set. Dang, if he ain't gonna lie to me about this, then why would I think that he would lie to me about other things, when he could have easily lied to me to get what he wanted, but he chose not to? So that said a lot to me about his character and his integrity.
Yo, you so on point right now, Miss Taken, man. I promise you, like, in my head, not even in my head, I told my wife, I said, look, I want to get to a place where you completely trust me. So I open up the books. Mm-hmm. I'm an open book anyways, bro. I open up the books. This is what it is here. And there's no guards. There's no, oh, you got questions about my exes. I got answers for you. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no need to lie about it, because I'm here with you right now. This is where I'm trying to take this shit. My goal is to get you to trust me as fast as possible, because that makes everything. That makes everything so fucking smooth, dog, in your relationship.
Do you think that the questions that men and women ask are the same? Because I've heard, you know, some of the ladies said, you know, like, what are your goals financially, and what are your thoughts on family, which are important questions, like, in the long term. But I feel like the questions that a man would ask in the first couple weeks or the first couple times he may message you is not going to be the same questions that, you know, a woman would ask. So I wonder, you know, I'll throw it to you, Rio. You know, what are some of the questions that you would ask that you haven't maybe heard brought up yet, in terms of from a man's perspective? That was to you, Rio, if you hear me.
It froze for a second. Can you repeat?
Oh, I was just saying, you know, what are some of the questions that you think are different that men ask that women don't ask? You know what I mean? Like, women ask about what your career goals are, what your financial goals are. You know, what are some of the questions that a man should be asking outside of, do you have children? You know, do you got a crazy ex-boyfriend, something like that? Like, what are some of the more important questions that should be asked up front to a woman?
What are you expecting out of a man you're in a relationship with? And what is your understanding of being in a relationship? And if you really think seriously about this individual, what does a wife look like to you? You know what I mean? That way you're on the same pages from the beginning, right? You have a good understanding of how this person understands their role within this relationship and what their expectations of yours are. So there isn't any misunderstandings later on down the line. It's one thing to be dating somebody and it's almost like an interview, but even in any interview, they're asking you, you know, what are you expecting out of this role and what can you bring to it? What's your skills? What's your background? You know what I mean? All of that. So if we are to get into this committed relationship together, we need to know up front that we have the same expectations of each other. Another thing I will say is be careful with some of these questions, because I think that sometimes we ask certain things too soon. Right. So she hits me back with, let's see, how soon are you looking to be married? Right. Something very direct like that. I may shift in my seat because that may make me uncomfortable. Right. right? Because I don't necessarily know if I'm ready to have that conversation with her, right? And it may require me to say some things that are uncomfortable. Well, with the right person, right? And if I've been dating you for, let's say, 3 months, and you feel like this is perfect, but I don't yet, you know what I mean? Then it's a necessary awkward conversation. So sometimes we bring on these conversations by asking certain questions, but make sure that you're prepared for the answers. It shouldn't be a turnoff. Truth shouldn't be a turnoff. Ms. Taken gave an example of that. Truth should not be a turnoff, but be ready to receive it and digest it and take it for what it is.
And that's what I think with a lot of men get mixed up when they say women don't like honesty. It's not that women don't like honesty. We definitely love and appreciate honesty. What we may not like is the answer. Right. And those are two different things.
The delivery.
Yeah. We may not like
delivery.
The right.
You took it out.
So we prefer the honesty. We don't want to be lied to. Nobody. I would think most people don't want to be lied to. But I think where a lot of times women, where I think men misinterpret women wanting to be lied to is that we don't like the answer that we receive. And sometimes honesty isn't, it isn't nice. It's not always going to make you feel good. I mean, even though he was honest, to me, I didn't necessarily like it because I wanted more than what he was willing to give me. And that's what I received was like, damn, I'm really feeling him. And he's straight up like, I like you, but I know I'm not ready to be in a relationship. So to me, that let me know if I continue to pursue it, I'm pursuing it at my own risk because he's already told me that he's not going to give me what I want. So
even with that being said, and I feel like I'm breaking a lot of code with this, but I'm going to keep it real. If you are dating for marriage, don't have sex with me too early, right? Because if you do, you're clouding my judgment.
Too early.
Especially if it's
too early, King Rio.
What is too early?
Too early for us to have a conversation about whether or not we are in alignment with marriage, timeline, what you want out of this relationship, all of that.
Now I'm talking about sex. Sex too early.
If you can't have those types of conversations yet, if it feels awkward having conversations about marriage, then you might be a little bit early. And because as soon as we have sex, if it's good, I'm not going to necessarily want to just ruin that, so to speak, by giving you a wrong answer. My judgment is also clouded. I'm trying to get a good feel for you. Because here's the thing: this is what you got to be okay with. It's not that I'm saying I'm going to be abstinent. It's saying that we're dating, so I'm going to get sex anyway. You know what I'm saying? But if I like you enough, right, then I'm going to continue to date you until I feel like this is something I'm willing to wait for. Once we have this conversation and we say, you know what, we both dating for marriage, I'm telling you certain things, you telling me certain things that are in alignment with what I see in a wife and what you see in a husband, then all right, then maybe it's safe. But you expecting me to tell you the truth? I mean, and you really, I mean, we going in. And I mean, we are in sexual alignment. And you're expecting me to tell you the truth about whether or not I'm dating for marriage and if I want that with you. I'm telling you, that's a difficult thing.
I think women men wanting what they want and willing, not necessarily dealing with the consequences of them telling the truth. You want your cake, you want to eat it too. So as women, we want the honesty and give us the decision to say if we still want to give you the cake. Like for me, I'm gonna be honest, like when my husband told me that, in my mind, I'm reading in between the lines. I know what that means. You're not the only one. You're not going to be the only one. So that had to make me, in knowing that had to make me change certain behaviors on my end because I knew he was making it clear that it wasn't just going to be me, right? And so I had to move different because in my mind, I'm thinking that is going towards the direction of it just being me, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we were already having sex by the time we had that conversation. You know what I'm saying? So for me, my feelings are getting involved with a lot of women. Once you get to the point where you're intimate with a person that you like, those feelings begin to grow. And here I am growing, and then I'm like, what are we? One of those, like, yeah, not wanting to assume. In my mind, I'm like, oh, we're together. Like, that was in my mind, because he was readily available to me when I need. So I'm like, oh, I must be, his girl. But when I decided to be specific about asking, he was honest. And at that point, he left the ball in my court. I could have been like, I'm done. Like, nah, this isn't what I'm looking for. But I'm not gonna lie, my feelings were already involved. So it took some time to get to the point where I needed to walk away, but eventually I did. But I think the honesty part comes in with the man also understanding that in his being honest, you have to understand that you can't have your cake and eat it too, as well. Just like the women may not like the answer, you might not like the response to your answer.
So let me say this. I know we got to move on, Kyle, but I'm gonna just say this real quick.
Don't get that off.
I got to get it out of here. Rio, I respect you, brother. But as serious as I was with my intention on wanting to date and vet or be intentional about my dating, you know what I mean, and looking for a wife, I still wanted to clap cheeks, nigga. I'm just gonna keep it at that wow, nigga. I still wanted to clap the cheeks, and guess what? Me clapping cheeks was not gonna change my unless it was trash, because niggas not trying to wait to find out about trash cheeks. Get real. Yeah. I don't want to wait goddamn 6 months to find out that you just got trash fucking cheeks. So I'm trying to clap cheeks, maybe a little early if it, natural progression. If the natural progression is I done talked to you about the motherfuckers early, I'm not finna just, I don't want to look at you anymore as a potential wife. Hell no, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So I feel you on that. And then I'm gonna address Tan in the super chat. Matter of way, Tan, don't lead with WTF. Some of us don't like that. But anyway.
Last word on this.
Here's what I'm gonna say, question. You led with you're dating for marriage. Whether or not you knew that or not, she then began to trust you in you expressing yourself that way that early on. She automatically said, oh my God, he's different. Our first phone conversation, he says he's dating for marriage. You know what I mean? So there are certain things that you have to realize. And then you said that you were an open book. Now you're being more vulnerable than other men that she's dated. You know what I mean? She feels a certain comfort with you. So she's willing to roll the dice because of the things that you're expressing. Most of these niggas not doing that. You know what I'm saying?
But that's why I encourage niggas to do that. But go ahead. Sorry.
If they mean it genuinely, though.
If they're ready. Absolutely. Right. You know what? I'm gonna put a caveat on that because you're absolutely right, Rio. Yeah. Be intentional. If you are intentional about dating for marriage, which I think I said this, but I just want to nail that fucking drive that nail home. If you're intentional about finding or dating somebody for marriage, tell them this, right? Be very forward, be very honest about this. If you are just trying to clap cheeks, be very honest and be very forward about this shit, man. I'm telling you, women will call you a breath of fresh fucking air because there's so many niggas out here fucking lying.
That's it right there.
Yeah,
that's it right there. Because when you're ready, I don't feel like you're having sex with women and overlooking their non-wifely qualities, right?
Right. Yeah.
At that stage in your life, whereas a lot of men still are. You know what I mean? They'll overlook a lot of shit if the sex is good. You know what I mean? Because
hold on. So to piggyback off of that, let's say you go on a few dates and you got some good communication going as a man with a few different ladies, and now you're trying to really narrow down your roster to to 2 or 3, and now you can't make a decision. Do y'all think that a man can actually be in love with or have love for multiple women at the same time? is that a real thing, or are you so maybe mesmerized by all the cheeks you clapping that now you just can't make a decision? Like, how do you know if it's real emotion that you're trying to fight between women and you just being greedy?
So let me just tap on that. Like in my headspace where I was at, like I had already done all that, right? The multiple shit, I had done all that. Nigga was exhausted from doing all that bullshit. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I don't need any of that. And that's when I started getting very intentional. When I became intentional, I wasn't trying to juggle motherfuckers. I ain't got the energy for that shit. I'm not doing that shit. And I was trying to climb to the top of the ladder in my fucking career. I ain't got time to be juggling all these motherfuckers, man. Fuck that. No. And full disclosure, I was actually I had a sexual relationship with a woman, right? When I had met my wife. First phone call, I said, I was in the middle of a sexual relationship, not dating. We were fucking, okay? When I met my wife, I was doing that, right? I waited like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks or some shit like that before I actually called my wife for the first time. The first time that she ended up like hanging out with me or whatever, like in person, hanging it and kicking it, my phone was getting blown up from the fuck buddy. I was honest. At that moment, I was honest. She was like, what you got going on? I'm like, it's a little shit that I was, dealing with, but that's dead because there was no potential there at all. There was no potential. I'm not looking to date this woman. I'm not trying to, but I see something different with you. And at that moment, I think once she left, I called that girl and was like, hey, sorry, this can't work no more. This can't happen no more because I'm not doing that shit. So when I say, fellas, when I say, nigga, be like, don't string people along and be honest, this is the level of honesty, fellas. Could that have been risky? Could the potential woman who was standing right there who shows the potential of being something like more, could she have just walked off and be like, all right, nigga, you doing too much? She could have, bro. But then she wouldn't have been right for me because I need somebody that's going to be ready to hear all this fucking honesty, all this shit, bro, skeletons and all that shit. And if you not that, you not ready.
So I have a story.
Go ahead, Kelly.
So I used to be engaged to a gentleman, and he was Muslim, and he's one of 6 brothers, and every single one of his brothers had between 2 to 3 wives because they believe you could have up to 4. But when I met him, I met one of the brothers that only had 1 wife, and she was like, yeah, I told him I was never going to be okay with him being with another woman. But I guess after 28 years of marriage and her having 8 children, he decided that he wanted to have a second wife. And once he decided that, she agreed to it. And it was like a split up of the time. Like every other day, he was at one woman's house and then at his wife's house, and it would be back and forth. And according to their religion, it can work successfully. But when I tell you it did not work at all, and it ended up in devastating both sides. So can a man love multiple women at the same time? I think he thinks he can, but I don't think in reality it's actually going to work out.
Yeah, because even to that example, like, did he do those other brothers? And I don't imagine that you really know the answer to this or whatnot, but just asking, do you think that these men love these women, or is it more of a, duty bound lifestyle and culture where
love is duty? Love is duty. We talked about this on King Talk a couple weeks back. Please go back, ladies, please go back and watch King Talk. I think 2 weeks ago, we drove this nail into the ground. Love is not an emotion. It's not feeling, right? Oh, the butterflies I get in my stomach when he kisses me on my neck.
It's a decision.
Nigga, you're horny. That's not love, okay? That's lust. Love is duty. And you know what? It's crazy because I live in this space, but I'll be honest, I don't even know if I truly understood the definition until, you got, nigga, I'm gonna just go ahead and call Trill the motherfucking sensei, because that nigga is smart beyond his fucking years, bro. Shout out to Crew Season, shout out to Trill, we fucking with your boy. But the way he broke it down and explained that this is duty, right? and I don't even want to fuck it up how he explained it. All I'm gonna suggest is, ladies, go back to that episode like 2 weeks ago on King Talk where we discussed love, and it is duty. It isn't a fucking feeling of emotion, you know, when your dick gets hard or your cat get wet. No, that's not fucking love. That's lust. Me saying, you know what, I would rather just sit my ass on the fucking couch, but my wife needs this, and this. My son needs this, and this. That thing that gets me the fuck up to go and do that thing, that's love. That's not, oh, when my son hugs me, oh, it just that warm feeling. That's not love, bro.
I agree with you, Quest. And not only is it duty, but I think the duty creates an incubator for the emotion. So those two things are tied. I do agree that love itself is not just emotion, because emotion is fleeting. When you truly love somebody, if that duty is gonna be consistent regardless of what is going on. But I do think when you create an environment of duty, that it does create the other aspect of love, which is the emotional connection. It deepens that emotional connection as well.
Well,
So,
CC, you said you single. I'd love to hear
Hold
what
on,
CC has to say.
take it.
Oh yeah, I want to get Tay and CC in there too. You know, well, what are y'all thoughts just on a woman's perspective? You know, do you think a man can love you and somebody else at the same? And do you agree with Quest and the point he made in regards to what happened on King Talk? Like, is love more action bound and duty bound, or do you think it's more that warm feeling you get when things happen?
I think love is a choice, and I talk. All my friends are married. All my close friends are married, except for maybe one. And somebody that they say all the time is, you need to find someone that you could choose to love every day. Like, you may not like them, but it's a choice to love them every day. My marriage works because I choose, even in those hard times, I choose to love my spouse. I choose to still wake up. I still choose to do things for them. It is a choice. So if you have that mindset, it's not a warm, fuzzy feeling, because warm, fuzzy feelings are going to go away over time. And what are you going to have without those warm, fuzzy feelings? Are you going to have a marriage? Like, what are you going to do? Like, in that relationship, is it going to be like, well, there's no warm, fuzzy feelings, so I guess this is over? You know, like, that's not how it works. So I'm on more of Quest, that you could choose. I think there are people who are in polyamorous relationships who they are with multiple people. I can't get into that dynamic because I'm not in one, but I do see people who make that work and that lifestyle work. So can a man love two different women? Absolutely. I think so.
Tay, what do you think? Or go ahead, Bruiser.
Oh no, you can get the ladies first.
Yeah. Tay, what do you think about that? Oh, you muted. We can't hear you.
You on mute. Yeah.
No, we can't hear you.
She has audio issues. Yeah.
We see your lips moving. Well, Jay, Bruiser, what do y'all think? You know, just in regards to love being, you know, action. And you know, I feel like I'm not going to even say that I disagree, but I think sometimes when all of life's responsibilities have been taken care of, and now y'all are old, you know what I mean? Like, what's keeping the marriage together then? You know, outside of taking care of one another, you know, what is it? Emotion, or is it now just additional duty that you're putting towards your spouse?
I would say it's just obligation, and I don't want to use duty for the sake of I'm not an advocate for redefining terms and stuff. I would say love. I would take, piggyback off of CC when she said choice. So if it's choice, then yes. I believe love is something one chooses to express, and in that expression, it's not limited to one single being. So if any man decides to have a relationship that encompasses loving more than one woman and hopes to optimize the expression, his protection, provisions, and intimacy should be fairly distributed amongst all the women that's involved. If this cannot be, if it can't be done, I would deem that man not capable of that condition. But so long as he can do that, then yeah, it can be done. But there's a lot of men out here don't have the capacity to be able to provide and show it evenly amongst all parties, and that's including yourself. So if you can do that, then more power to you. There's just not a lot of people out here with those type of provisions.
I don't even think it's provision. I don't even think it's just the provision aspect. So when you love somebody, like Quest said, it is duty, right? It is responsibility. Just like we've had conversations before about like men saying women working and trying to take care of a family. At some point, something you can't give 100% to each. You can't give 100% to your job without neglecting some aspects of your family, because you can't be in two places at once. So when you say a man can love more than one person, if we're focusing on all aspects of that love, the provision, yes, you may be able to provide equally among all of them, but then it extends beyond needs, and it also includes warmth, care, sustainability, all of those things, and time. And if I require time and you say, well, I'm limited in my time because I have to split it evenly among each of you, then as a woman, I know I would feel like I'm being unloved.
Well, whenever I make
let
this,
me jump in here,
hold on
right?
real quick. Let me respond. Let me respond real quick, Quest. When I stated provisions, I compensated for all those things. I provide emotional connection, warmth, all that, whatever you want to call it, time, whatever. It's something that a man is providing. So it's not just limited to his ability to bring a paycheck home and financial whatever. It's all of those things. If he can do that evenly, then yeah, he has the capability. If he has the capability to do it, then yeah, go for it. But I'm saying that a lot of men can't.
If you have 4 women, right? Look at $1. You got 4 quarters make up $1, right? But if I'm saying I'm the woman that I need the 100% of the time, and you're saying I have 4 women, you will not be able to provide me with.
Then eliminate it. That means that there's an understanding between the women that this man is affiliating himself with. These women have an understanding that they have to share the time if they're going to be with one person. It's just simple math. So if you need 100% of the time, that means everybody else gets 0%. So you just eliminate yourself. So he would then find someone else to fill your void.
Yes.
So it's still going to be done. It's just that once you come to the table with these women that you desire to have a polyamorous relationship with, it's an understanding.
Yes.
Got you. I see what you said.
Ladies, let's be very clear here. Oh, my bad. Bruiser, were you done? I didn't want to chop you off. My bad. Okay. My bad. So ladies, listen. Stop saying that men can't do it. They can't do it. They can't love more than one woman. Y'all don't know what the fuck men can do. The men that you guys have encountered cannot do those things. But to suggest that men in general just can't love more than one person or more than one woman and be able to provide equally all these different things, the men that you guys have come across can't do that clearly, right?
So can I ask you a question?
There are men that are out there that can
Shots
do
fired. Shots fired.
I'm just being honest though.
I think what we mean is they can't.
I think Kelly had a question, mistaken.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly. Sorry.
No, I just have a question for Quest, because everyone's saying love is duty, love is choice. It's not a feeling, it's a fleeting emotion, which I agree with all those things. But if you are choosing to wake up in the morning to love your wife every day, at what point do you choose another woman? Like, do her feelings or emotions no longer matter? Because I'm pretty sure if you decided tomorrow, I think I want a second wife, your wife wouldn't be okay with that.
So to answer your question, I wouldn't wake up like that because that's me. But let's just say, for instance, I was a dude that was looking to have multiple wives. And let's just say Rosie was the first one. I just showed you and explained to you how open book I am about my world. If that was something that I wanted, I would tell her, hey, look, I am a dude that's looking to have multiple wives. You could potentially be the first, but that's not to suggest you are going to be the last. I just sat here and discussed like how open book I was.
I was listening.
Think it would be any different?
I use you as an example.
She was just talking generally.
It's just an example because you're married.
Right. So yeah, I'm suggesting that there are men that are out here that would want a second wife or a third wife.
Right. But the story I told at the start of the conversation was a friend of mine who experienced this, and after 28 years of marriage, he just popped this on her.
Well,
So
I
But
wonder,
let's be clear.
why.
Let's
I wonder why, because it sounds like we're getting right immediately into blaming him. Were there some things that she may have not been doing, or she fell off, or blah 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 blah?
But so what I'm saying is, if love is a choice, why not choose to stick it out with that person? If that was the commitment that you agreed upon.
because you said it, because it's a choice.
If you're in a relationship, say I have no problem with the poly thing, if that's said at the beginning. Hey, whatever, I'm into having multiple wives. You won't be the first. Cool. Then you can decide to be a part of that shit. But if you make a commitment with one person and then all of a sudden you're dedicated, you have kids, and now you want to hit me with this, I don't think that that is fair.
So here's what I'll say to that.
Nobody said it was fair.
Here's what I'll say to that. One, I don't think that's the normal thing that happens out here. It's like niggas get married for 28 years and be like, hey, I want to bring on another fucking wife. So I think what you're talking about is extremely anecdotal, right?
I don't think that is. You think everything's extreme. It happens a lot more than you think.
That is very extreme. 28 years.
You be having.
Maybe they
never heard of this. I've never heard of this.
Maybe they don't have other wives, but they start sleeping with other women. That happens a whole lot. Maybe it's not
we change that.
It is a lot of couples.
Real quick.
It is a lot of couples out here going to getting a third little somebody to come up in their rooms and spice things up after 20 years of marriage.
You'll have like a wife and a husband, like we're looking for a fun buddy. It happens so much these days. So
but it's a reason behind it. It's not like nobody just waking up and saying, "Oh, I want another wife." There's some thought that's going into that, and there's some reason why this man is wanting to do that. So I think the conversation that you had with this person that went through that is probably holding out some information that could be critical to why he made a decision.
Right. So,
and that's the conversation a lot of people don't want to have. I've talked to multiple couples who fail, and they never want to talk about why it failed. A lot of the women just say, well, he cheated. There ain't nothing to talk about. I don't want to hear nothing. There's nothing he can say. But then they get in another relationship and get cheated on again. And because they didn't fucking learn from it, and why did they, what kind of input they had on the influence, they wound up getting cheated on again. So it's like a business. You want to know why the hell your damn business failed. So when you go into business again, you don't make those same damn mistakes.
Yeah, hey, my bad. Like, Bruiser, so you lagging like a motherfucker. And I don't know if that's just on my screen or if everybody else can see Bruiser lagging. Like, your words are after your expressions or whatever. So that's why, I think I was cutting you off. That might be just my screen, but I don't know if it looked like he lagging. So, but anyways, I said that and I completely lost my goddamn train of thought. Sorry.
Go ahead, Tay. Let's see where you at, Tay. You good now? Nope. You're not good. I don't know what's going on. Are you on the laptop?
You might have to leave and come back again.
Yeah, you may have to come in on the cell phone or the laptop or something like that. But Jay, go ahead. I know you've been trying to jump in. Go on, do that.
I didn't really have too much. I mean, I believe, men can love multiple women. I think it just depends what the women require from a man versus, and I'm probably saying the same thing everybody's already said, just in a different way. It require what the women requires from a man. If she's cool with 25% or 50%, which some women are, honestly. I asked the woman, would you rather have 50% of a great man or 100% of an average man? She told me 50% of a great man. So they are willing to take less. You know what I mean? And it depends what the man, how he spreads himself, because I have a friend that I've, grown with throughout college, and the same amount of women and the same amount of chasing that he was doing 20 years ago, he's still doing now. And I get exhausted just looking at him. I'm like, how are you doing this? Where's this energy? Jumping out of bushes, lying to women. Like, he's still, everything we were doing 20 years ago, he's still doing it. I'm exhausted just hearing the stories. You know what I mean? Like, I want to just come home, watch TV, get a nap. You know what I'm saying? This dude is flying. But it all depends on the individuals. Also,
what you think,
like,
go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
No, like, real quick, like, you'll have men and this may fall not under love, but more territorial in regards to men. But you ever had a man that like has like 3 or 4 women, and one of his women that he love, likes you or falls in love with you, and he's upset about it. You know what I mean? Like his third woman likes you and he's pissed off. You know what I mean? It's like, fam. So it can be spread
You
out. It
got
just
2 more.
depends. Huh?
It's like you got 2 more. What are you mad about?
Yeah, it's crazy, but it all depends on the people and what they're willing to deal with and willing to take.
So, I feel men can love multiple women, but I don't feel that love, and loyalty always come as a package, right? And I think that and loyalty is love to some people, right? So, with that being said, you can love somebody to death. You can love somebody for the rest of your life and have ups and downs about liking them, right? You may have another woman that you like better in certain phases that you don't necessarily have the same love for as your person, your wife, or whoever, right?
Like your work wife versus your real wife. You know what I mean? Some people like they work wives more than they like they real wives, even though but they love they real wives. So
you know what I mean? So there's a lot going on out here, right? And I think sometimes with temptation, loyalty wavers, and sometimes we got to hone that back in. But ultimately, it happens. It does happen. It's possible. It's going on. I just think that, we romanticize love so much that we don't necessarily think of it in its true definition. So that's my response.
So then so if we go ahead, I'll let you go ahead and switch it up.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Tay. Where you at with this, Tay? No. Is it just me? No, we cannot hear Tay, right? I don't know what's going on. Tay, you got to get you a laptop and come in through the laptop or something like that.
Either that or try putting in like your earbuds or whatever.
Yeah, get some headphones. That could work.
You know what I'm saying? Try that.
Or she can go to settings and make sure her audio is well. Yeah. I don't think that even matters when you got a phone, right? There's only one source of audio, right?
But it may not be shared with.
Yeah, make sure your phone is already hooked up.
Mic may not be shared.
Her husband might be outside washing the car and might be connected.
Hey, nigga, call the Geek Squad. They'll come over there and tighten you up. Call the Geek Squad. Tell them niggas come over.
Just a quick question because I'm new to the panel. So, Kyle, you're married? Mm-hmm. Bruiser, I know is married. Quest, I know is married. Jay, not married. Tay's married. Kelly's in a relationship. King, Rio, not married. And okay, Mistaken's married. Okay. That just puts perspective into the conversation and we're a direct question. So,
all right, let's check these super chats out. It's been a minute. My bad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any volunteers to read these?
Ladies.
Before I nominate Kelly, you got a wonderful reading voice, so I'm gonna throw it to you. I'm gonna nominate you. You muted. You muted right now. There you.
So you didn't hear me say I would do it? No.
You might have been muted. You might have been muted that time.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing an audible in my theatrical voice. I could do accents too, Toy T, $9.99. Great looking panel. Happy birthday, Quest. Many blessings to you. Where is Toya?
Love Toya. Hey, and we love that hair color, baby. That hair color looking good. That haircut looking good.
It does look good.
Yeah.
Matt G, $4.99. Go ahead, shout him out, Quest.
Hey, big shout out to my motherfucking Chat Ninja first song. Big shout out to Matt G. We love you, boy. Hey, salute to the panel, Quest. Hope you enjoy your birthday. Chat Ninjas, assemble! Lapeef Sundays assemble.
I know that's your boy, Matt G.
Yeah.
Kevin C, $60. Thank you. Dating a 45 plus felony man is absolutely wasting time.
Brutal.
Facts. That's it. Oh, John the Baptist, $10. Thank you. Women waste time, like your waist, not waste. Time when you don't let your fathers, uncles, brothers vet for you. Women waste time by making education and a career the main focus. Main focus for women should be a helpmate. Thank you, John the Baptist. Kevin C, $30. good on my man Quest for being straight up.
For being straight up. Hey, look, hey, I appreciate it. I don't get it right all the time, but you know, I can't be nothing but me. You know what I mean?
Maurice, $9.99. Women aren't able to pick suitable mates at a high rate. It's actually very low. It's because they are fish and men are the fishermen. Women can't see above sea level. What? Can we comment on this or no?
Go ahead, Kelly. What you think? What do you think about that?
Women can't see above sea level. You need a man to vet for you. Okay, so I get his point. However, I feel like women can't pick good men because they don't see any good men growing up. Like, where do you base what a good man looks like if you don't have a father in the home?
But you had a father in the home, right?
Right. I have no problem.
And this is not shots or anything like that, but in your dating life, have you picked all good men?
So the one guy that I picked, that wasn't a good man, my father forbid me to date him. So he knew. I chose to date him anyway because I was 19 and I was like, I'm a grown up. You can't tell me what to do. That was the only bad guy I've ever chosen. But after that point, when my father was alive, I would literally ask him, what do you think of this man? What do you think of this man? Because he was never wrong.
Wait a minute. Are we saying that if you don't have a father in the home? Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry. Men, you should ask women. Men, you should ask women, are your parents married? Is your mother submissive or aggressive? How do you feel about your parents' role? It's a good question.
I asked my wife. That was one of the first things I asked my wife.
Baptizing us on a Sunday. No such thing as sex too early. $2.
All right, look. Niggas is trying to clap cheeks, bro.
I don't know about that one. I mean, it's never too early to get some, but if you call yourself like being in pursuit of a woman and then she just give it up to you real quick, that might mess up what your plans might have been. You know what I'm saying? It's never a bad time to get some, but if it turned out that she might be more for the streets than you thought, that could be discouraging once you come to clarity.
I agree. I think
it's a
girl
difference.
Has sex with you on the first night, you're gonna think in her mind she's doing that with everybody.
It's a difference.
Come on, let's not make that narrative, man.
It's a difference between a woman coughing the draws up and a woman getting finessed out of their draws because mouthpiece and all these different things. Game, really, right? It's a difference there.
Thank you.
I'm listening.
I wanted to highlight this one. This isn't a super chat, but I thought it was interesting that I get what Rio is saying, but sex is a big reason why people get married. I really do think that a lot of people, when they find, the person who is making their toes curl, out here, when they can't really find bonds, they actually do marry that person because the sex is good. I was curious on what y'all thoughts were on that.
That's people 20 and under.
I was going to say, I don't think.
Hear me?
I mean, there may be people who have married because of sex, but I think most people do not marry because of sex. Sex can be what helps sustain a marriage, but is not going to be what maintain a marriage at all. You need so much more than just sex in a marriage. You
ladies,
just
if you think that, ladies, if you out there thinking that your cat is that fire, that a nigga gonna marry you just cause how fire your cat is, you're delusional.
Facts.
I don't think it's about a cat being so fire, but if you have sex with somebody and it's just not great, are you going to want to pursue a relationship with them? Are you going to want to?
We're not talking about bad
cats.
All right, let me ask this.
Every time you have to have sex with them because it's just so bad, like
I've seen it happen so many times.
I think it can be taught, though. I think if you come with core characteristics of what would maintain the foundation of a marriage, sex is important in a marriage, but I also think that sex can be taught. It all depends on your partner. Because especially with men talking about they don't want a woman with a whole bunch of bodies, she's gonna lack experience. So you have to understand that not having multiple sex partners and having all of these experiences, you are gonna have to take ownership in teaching your wife what you like and what to do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That comes along with patience, and she can become the type of sex partner you want, but that will take time.
Let me ask
I've
a
heard a
question
lot
to
of
you.
men complain about women doing like the dead fish thing, like she just lays there. She just lays there. I've heard a lot of men say that she just lays there.
Well, I think that's on the man by not telling her what he needs, and vice versa. I know so many women where we've had conversations and they've like, I've never orgasmed before.
I have friends that never had orgasms.
And I think for the woman, she's responsible for letting her mate know that this isn't working. I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Like, it don't have to be, but you have to be mindful of how you say it. But I think it's each other's responsibility to communicate what they need in that area for it to have a healthy sex life.
I agree, but some people get offended. Like
Well,
I got a question for you on
you
this.
gotta have communication skills on that one. You got love languages. Everybody got love languages. It's the same thing. Spending time, whatever, all those things. Everybody ain't gonna be great at them or good at them. And if you're willing to spend time with them and try to bind with them, then you should also be willing to coach them through things that they might have difficulty dealing with.
Go ahead, Real.
And if you don't want to do that, then you shouldn't be getting yourself in a relationship. That's just selfish.
So I
got a question for you.
Yes.
I think Tay is coming through. Yeah.
Oh, Tay, we heard you.
Hear me? All right.
Let's say, for example, we take out sexual performance, right? Because that's something that we can train and teach her on over time, right? But let's talk about, and I kind of know the answer to this question, but I just want to throw it out there just to add to the conversation. The difference between the desert and a flood when it comes to a woman, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that more of a mental, you know what I mean, an emotional kind of connection? And can y'all elaborate on that? Just because of one man's experience with a woman may be different than another man's experience with a woman, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's where sometimes I think, well, I guess it's all learning experience, where men go wrong is that a lot of times what works for one woman may not necessarily work for the next woman that you're with. And so you are going to have to read the new woman that you're with, because the old things that you're doing may not necessarily work for her. And a woman's mind is, also, mind and heart is connected to their vagina, and I think that's why you will hear a lot of women talk about if you get in my mind first, then you definitely got the body. I do think that we are wired a little different when it comes to that. It takes us longer to get to that point than it does take. I mean, y'all can just, a breeze or, whatever, and y'all like ready to go, like, let's get it in. Whereas for women, it is going to take a little more than that. Sometimes like, if your mind ain't right, a lot of times your vajayjay ain't gonna be right either.
So I brought that question to the table because I felt like even a lot of our listeners, don't mistake me for saying that I don't like to test it out, because I do, right? But what I'm saying is, be cognizant of the fact that the version of her that you are getting isn't necessarily a summation of what she can give. You know what I mean? So you have to really know how you really have her up here. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing. If it's just sex, 9 times out of 10, you ain't really got the best of her that you would get otherwise.
So here I want to say something about.
Hold on. We get through here. Shout out Rebellious Videos for the $2. Prue, I think we were talking about Kelly, your person you knew who had multiple wives. He said proof that when women have to compete, they act right. I think that was during that conversation. So shout out to Rebellious Videos. And then also shout out to Janae Nicole for $1.99. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I did hear a man say that when a man has one wife, he's constantly fighting with her. But when he has 2 wives, they fight each other over him. So he no longer has to fight.
If you fight
That's
your
the book
wife,
of myth.
Fairy
Book of
tale.
your
myths.
wife like that, you in a wrong relationship. You find your wife like that, you in the wrong relationship.
Shout out to Tan for the $4.99. Rio, WTF? Are you talking about everything? Ain't gotta be that deep. Hey, shout out to Rio. Shout out to Rio for raising the level of communication in the conversation. Shout out to you.
Deep. Y'all are
No,
haters.
what he was talking about, Rio, he was talking about like when it came time for like having sex, and I don't think we should have sex initially. I think it was that conversation.
I think
I don't disagree.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Tay.
Yeah.
You can fall in love more. If the sex is good, you can fall in love even more with that person if the sex is good. Who wants to coach? Who wants to coach that person? Really?
Women don't. I'll tell you something. As a man,
Men love it.
Right.
we love that.
I love that. I mean, I can get you to do whatever I want.
Well, they want you to be more.
See,
They want to dominate more in the bedroom, so men would prefer that.
Trust me,
Yeah,
I found out I
but
like
see, that's-
something I didn't even know I liked.
But see, that's the thing
That's
right
that's
there.
a fact, because a woman who wants to please you is an enthusiastic learner. You know what I mean? It's not. People making it seem like, oh, that's such a drag. No, she's engaged. She's in the front of the class. She's a teacher's pet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to realize, and I realize some people have an experience, so they won't know. You know what I mean? People getting mad and everything in the chat. But some of us speaking from experience.
Absolutely.
Let me ask Tay.
And you real quick.
Hold on.
You learn that, because when you younger, you learn some stuff, or a woman coaches you. This is what I like, you have these bag of tricks, and you want to go out there and use, you're a magician now, so you want to go out there and try this on, and none of it's working. You like, dog, I can't wait to try this out. And you go, and they just sitting there like, hold on, none of this working, none of this, you know what I mean? So that's when I learned every woman is different, every button is different. So you out here doing all your magic, and she looking at you with a straight face. That is demoralizing. So Tay, you have to teach. When you say, I don't know who want to cheat, the last person, they just had a different combination, So you got to let me know what your combination is, and we'll get there, and boom, you could take your trip.
The box.
My husband told me that when it comes, like, men don't necessarily like always listening to women. But when it comes to sex, that will be the one time a man, if you compare it to anything else, will be up front and center and listen to a woman, because a man, especially in that situation, always aims to please.
Literally up front and
that's
center.
why it's important for women to coach their man, and I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, but to coach their men in what it is that they like too, because they will be apt to do what you like because they enjoy being the man in that area.
So is that why women just stay there? Because you really don't have the combination? Could that be what's happening?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. A woman should tell the man what it is they want.
Because a lot of y'all like to say that women like to starfish, but maybe you just didn't find the right combination to her body. So
But that's what it needs to be.
We've been found the combination. That's what's wrong. We've been found the combination. You don't got to do nothing because we already know the combination. That's the issue.
Well, I'm just being devil's advocate.
Nah, she's right. You can turn a
maybe,
starfish into
going
a
off of what
cartwheel.
Jay said. Jay just said that I have my whole combination. I put the combination in and it didn't open. She was just laying there. So it just made me think that maybe sometimes you don't got the combination right and she's just laying there.
Stop it.
But why not have that conversation?
Let me just say this.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let me just say this. There are men out here that possess a particular set of skills. Okay?
Not taken.
Right? Particular set of skills, and they may have an extravagant history of wins in the ring, okay? And then here come this just one person that's just like, oh, starfish, and I ain't moving, I ain't getting triggered by none of your tricks that you're doing. Throw her ass back in the ocean, my nigga. throw her ass back in the fucking ocean. Nigga, if you are Floyd Mayweather with a record of 50 and fucking 0, okay? 50 and 0, and you putting all these combinations and doing all this shit, and it's just starfish, throw ass right back on out to sea. Her
like
body
a
count is
frisbee.
too high for you, my nigga. You know who she needs? She needs one of these niggas off of X videos. She needs one of these niggas off of Black Raw. She needs one of them type niggas.
Black Jesus.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Raw Dog
Just
Ronnie.
saying. Yeah.
So it couldn't be much.
That is like a challenge. Why would you look at that as a challenge?
I'm not throwing it back. I'm just gonna up my game. I'm just gonna up my bedroom game.
Challenge accepted is what Bruiser said.
Exactly.
Challenge accepted.
Hey,
Yeah, he like it.
I'm
my
accepting the
nigga Black
challenge.
Gold Moolah. My nigga Black Gold Moolah say she broken. She is, dog. Broken.
Nah, that's true too. That's true too. Like too much, too much equipment, too much outside mechanics, and it's just nothing you could do unless you can do what you do.
Nah, we go to sex therapy
and talk crazy.
Listen, I can't ask a
How did this
question without
conversation
getting
even
eaten
get
alive. Jesus, devil's advocate. Be kind.
But I feel like these are conversations that you should have with your partner. Like
you should.
What do you like? How do you like it? Like what position's your favorite? Like what do you need me to do? How long? Where? What? I talk to them and tell them what you like too. Yeah, touch me here like this. Don't stop.
That's absolutely right.
This should be verbal communication.
Like,
it's not like
I think the happiest marriages are the ones who want to be in the front of the class. Like
that's what I was gonna say.
The happiest marriages are the ones where the woman is like, "What do you want me to do?"
I freaking want to know.
Like we literally just had a conversation. I don't know if you're gonna get mad, but it's very broad. A conversation.
Years, girl. You're doing something right. Okay.
We just had a conversation a few days ago about not like renegotiating non-negotiables when it comes to sex, because we talk, you know what I'm saying? So and it changes things that you like, things that you're willing to try. After being together like 26 years, you know, it's but so many different ways. And, so we went back to the table to renegotiate non-negotiables and stuff like that. So I think that's important. But even to get to that table, I think your mate has to make you feel comfortable about things that you're willing to do. Like sometimes men can come off too aggressive about what it is they want, and it becomes a very selfish thing. When it comes to sex, where they're not necessarily caring about what I actually saw it in a chat where a guy was like, I'm not getting coached, I do the coaching, that kind of stuff. When you have that mindset, then you're not going to have the full exploration of what, sex could be, especially in a marriage. But I think the guy has to create a safe space for your willingness to try different things to come about. Because if I'm not familiar with certain things or feel comfortable because of a lack of experience, it's going to be up to you to create a safe space or an environment for me to want to try different things and do different things. And part of that is making sure that you are putting my needs sometimes at the expense of your own sometimes, to let me know that I can trust you, that you're going to consider my feelings and what I need in this. So I think anybody can be coached.
Yeah, that's true. And if you throw her back to the water, you run the risk. You run the risk of not being exposed to other things. Like she might be interested in bringing another woman in the room. You just fucked that up, brother. I'm just keeping it 100. You never know what it is, man. So you have to keep your options open. You can't just quit, call it quit. You got to talk, like Kelly said, you got to communicate, man.
Well, that's if it's the woman that's worth your time.
Hold on. Let me talk to my chat ninjas real quick. Hey, chat ninjas, listen. I'm telling you right now, if you want a relationship that's going to stand the test of time, I know some of y'all like to sit on y'all manosphere fucking throne and nigga, I ain't being coached. Listen, people, if you want a relationship that's going to stand the test of time, move some of the ego out the way. right? Because if you are that nigga that's doing all the providing and you're able to keep that household like operating like a well-lubed machine and this shit easy. The older you get, the easier it is. Like, I'm just telling you right now, I want all my blocks on my Madden shit. I want all my shits at 99, nigga. I want all my attributes on Madden at 99. So yeah, I want my income shit at 99. I want my everything, whatever. I want it all at 99. Some of you niggas is just like, shit, nigga, my income at 99, shit, fuck all the rest of this shit. They gonna goddamn just bow down. Nah, nigga. Always strive to be the greatest and the best you can possibly fucking be. And if that means pushing my ego to the side just a little bit, to be like, you know what, let me find out how I can make this nigga goddamn climb all the way up, scale up that wall, goddamn do all this crazy ass shit based off of the shit that I'm doing with my mouth or my, you know what I mean, my dick or whatever. Like, because your damn mouth. I'm trying to be maxed out on every fucking thing, nigga. Straight up. Fellas.
Well, look, well, that's kind of a good segue, actually. So on the next topic, we're referring to really, you know, if we want to be raw about it, we're referring to how men are viewing women's bodies in the modern day age. So we have a little video here. I'm sure y'all might have heard about this right here. So I'm just go ahead and play it to get y'all thoughts on the other side.
Them women just hating on you, love. Keep going. So majority, not all, majority of the people that I see defending me on comments are women. Believe it or not, a lot of women got my back. So I would say people are just hating. You know, not. Guys, it's not majority women. It's really not. It's not. It is not. Isn't that crazy? You would think so, right? I have seen some men say some crazy stuff, and I'm just like, and not like the nasty pervy stuff. I'm talking about some crazy, mean, disrespectful, wild things. Like, bro, I'm a teacher. What are you doing? I teach babies. No kid is sitting in my classroom thinking that stuff.
Shit,
that was the first time I heard that video and heard her voice, and I don't know how I feel about her voice. But so there's kind of a two-parter. You know, the main reason why most men are single is because of the character of the woman they want doesn't match the body that they, you know, that they would also want. And that kind of goes along with this kindergarten teacher who's seeing some backlash because she goes to school, you know, to go teach the babies, as you referred to. And of course, her body is a distract. Some parents think that it can be a distraction. So, you know, what are y'all thoughts on, I guess, overall, the modern male's opinion about the modern day female's body? You know, is there too much policing? Is there not enough policing? You know, the fact that she just said, you know, all the people who are defending me are women, like that's actually not surprising. Like, you know, in the day that we're living in, of course, women are going to come to her defense and say, girl, you just living your best life. Don't worry about it. And I guess you're trying to imply that it's the men who have a problem with the way she looks. So what do you guys think just in general? You know, do men put too much into thickness and where it's appropriate to show thickness? And what's the line between thick and, you know, beyond thick?
I mean, I'll be honest, it depends the median she's listening to. You know, if she's saying that she's being supported by women, I kind of feel like, you know, if you're listening to the Shade Room, yeah, they're going to be cheering for you, you know. And as a man, I mean, I can understand her pain, but I'm thinking like, I wouldn't see it as men complaining about that. Like as a man, you know, if I had a child that was a kindergarten teacher and they look like that, like first of all, like you said, a kid at that age wouldn't be thinking that unless somebody put that in their head. As a man, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I could see a woman having a problem with it. You know, having a husband that goes to these parent-teacher conferences and you're talking to somebody like that. You know, I could see a woman having a problem with it more than a man. As far as like policing women's bodies, I mean, with, you know, when you factor in as far as the work that people are having done, like, you know, it's getting crazy. Like people are out here looking like legit crabs, yo. just a butt with arms and legs coming out of it. You know what I mean? So it's getting a little absurd. But outside of that, Black women are who they are. They're built how they're built. You know what I'm saying? You kind of take it or leave it. You know.
Plus, do you think? I mean, let's say she teaching third graders. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's too easy to just say, "Oh, well, them kids don't notice." Like, third graders are being, or elementary school kids in general, they're being exposed to stuff that I know we weren't exposed to as elementary school kids. So, I think it's too easy for people who are defending her to say, well, they're just kids, they don't even realize. Like, I mean, I'm sure that might be true, but in the general sense, we still got to be a little more aware of something that can be a distraction. So, I mean, I guess I got to throw it to the ladies. Do y'all even think that it is a distraction, or do you think that men are just, triggered by something like this?
I think this makes me think about Teacher Bay that went viral like a few years ago. It was a woman who, that's just how her body was shaped. She put on clothes, she put on a dress, her body is shaped that way. Same with Sydney Carter, who was a basketball coach. Woman couldn't wear pink pants because her butt was just too curvaceous, and that's just how her body is shaped. Now, this particular lady, she clearly had work done. I mean, the butt to chest to waist ratio, she had work done. I think regardless, you could take this to the flip side. You have Lizzo's body, who gets policed and criticized just as much. And you have Aries Spears, who now is like viral right now for the things he said about Lizzo's body. So yes, when I say men just will say what they're going to say about a woman's body, whether it's big or small, and they're just never satisfied.
Is it out of line though?
Wait. We not finna let her zip. We're not finna zip right past that. Men are never satisfied. Would you like to elaborate on why we're
I just feel like when the things that are, go viral, I'm not saying like the typical man. The typical man, I've heard, we prefer a woman who does not have a body that has work. I prefer a woman who's more natural. That is what I hear more often.
That's most men. That's most men.
Right.
Go ahead.
So we're talking about these outliers that are on social media. And I think they won't be happy. That's what I mean. Like, there will
always. So you mean the outliers are never happy?
Well, I'll clarify. Outliers are never happy. I will clarify with that quest, because we're talking about what we see on social media, which I will say is not the standard. Her body, I think, should not be the standard. Do I agree as a kindergarten teacher? Would it bother me if my child was in her kindergarten class? Probably wouldn't.
Said it would not bother you if she was okay. So then do you think it's out of line? Like, is it disrespectful for, I walk in, I ain't never met the teacher before in my life. And, it's the first day of school. I'm going through, meeting all my teachers, okay, here go the music teacher. Nice to meet you. Here go the main teacher. Then I walk up on her. I'm like, oh man, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's natural to respond. So do you think that that's something on me? Like, I need to check myself, or am I within my right to feel some type of way about how she looks?
Her choice.
Man, I'm just wondering.
Well, I was going to say, I think her choice of clothing is not the best for being on campus. Like, wearing jeans and a top like that probably.
It probably ain't no clothes that's going to hide all that.
That's false. That's false.
CC is right. CC is right, bro. Like, especially some of y'all church goers, okay? Because I know it's a lot of niggas that's in the chat, and probably everybody on the stage here go to church. Anybody that don't go to church?
Once upon a time.
Well, we're gonna go right now, Sunday?
No. Is there anybody that don't go to church? Okay, all right. So just me. All right. So especially all you ladies that like going to church, you know damn well you're not wearing them same type jeans right there to church that you would wear to the club. Cut it the fuck out, bro. So yes, if you're in a job and you think that you could, you know why y'all don't wear that shit in the church? Because y'all are a distraction to the fucking pastor on the goddamn pulpit. So if you think you could potentially be a distraction to the kids or the parents or other teachers, so on and so forth, don't wear the shit, bro. It's that fucking simple.
I am actually, I'm no longer in class.
Hold on.
You're trying to talk, but your audio is not working again, love.
Oh man.
I think it's her computer. I don't think it's the platform. You might not have the right microphone selected.
I was going to say I am was a teacher. I'm no longer in the classroom anymore, but I do think it also depends. I do think it depends on age level. Like at the high school level, that would definitely be very, very inappropriate. It's about discernment. I know we have an issue with saying with men policing our bodies and stuff like that. And sometimes I do think it is warranted in certain situations when you're not making the having the necessary discernment to dress appropriately. Quest gave a good example. Like you use discernment when you go to church because you know something like that would not be appropriate in that space. So I would say at the high school level, because I see it often, where some women are like, some teachers can be dressed where you're like, this is going to be a distraction to a group of 14 to 18-year-old boys. Like it just is. And I think that's why a lot of times you do have schools that have dress codes for the staff to try to eliminate some of that. However, on the flip side, like you said, Black women bodies, even with a dress code, you're following a dress code. It's just certain things that are gonna fit and you can't hide. Like I'm hippie. I have a smaller waist. I have to buy pants a certain way because it has to fit the bottom half, but then it might not fit my waist. So now my waist is real gappy. So I may have to go a size down to try to have it fit a little better. But now is going to be tighter on my ass and my hips. So that's not something that I can control. But in a situation where I can minimize the distraction, might be I wear a sweater that's a little longer, so it'll cover up, my butt area, especially if I'm standing in front of the classroom and got to turn around and write something on the board. I'm cognizant that I got 14 and 18-year-old kids in my class. So on that is on me to minimize the distraction in a classroom. Even with the students, I've said stuff to girls in class because it's a distraction to me. If I'm in class as a teacher and I have the same stuff you have and I can't help but keep looking because like, yo, put your breath away. Like, why can I see through your leggings and see your ass? Like, I'm going to say something. That's a distraction.
But the hierarchy is different though, because their parents are supposed to fix that and check that shit at the fucking door. Whereas
right, and you have parents come in that flip, especially, and I have to call it how I see it. You have a lot of the women, the mothers come in and go to town fighting arguing with administration about, I bought her clothes, this is what I want her to wear to school, and she should be able to wear whatever I bought her, things. And believe it or not, it's not just Black parents, is white parents as well, where I'm seeing a trend now with more of the white kid is like these little I guess they're considered like the tennis style skirts. So how short tennis skirts are. Like I've literally had to speak to 2 girls already because they're taking the stairs. I'm walking behind them on the stairs and I see everything. And I'm pulling them to the side like, yo, this is inappropriate. You need to, go fix that.
Yeah,
but
my father did not play that. I remember when I was in middle school, I wore a pair of shorts that were too short, and they called me to the office. They made me put on some like gym shorts, and they called my father. When I got home, he was like, "Where are they?" And I said, "What?" He said, "The shorts you wore to school, give them to me." And he ripped them right in front of me. He's like, "You're
absolutely."
Never school.
See, you know what? Though?
He said, before you leave, I need you to let me see what you're wearing. I need to make sure it's appropriate before you walk out that door.
But as a teacher, if you're dressing like this, if you're dressing like the students, that's a problem too. You have no face to say, you can't wear this, you can't wear that when you're looking the same way they are. I do think it's a standard in a profession that you should dress when you are around around students.
I think you should dress a professional in a professional setting. Your job is your profession. I have no problem with her body. She can do whatever you want and dress however you want outside of work, but in work, no matter where we work, unless you're in a cubicle or at home, you should have a certain air about you when you walk into your professional setting, and you shouldn't be wearing anything that's too tight or too revealing. It should just be a professional outfit. And there are dresses, even if you're curvy, that you can wear, because I'm a Black woman, I've got curves, but there are certain clothes I can wear where you can't even tell I have boobs. There are muumuu dresses. I'm not saying you have to wear that. You can still keep it cute, keep it classy, and also cover up. That's possible. And I think you should do that in your professional setting. And if my child was in her class and she's bending down to help another student and her ass is in my child's face, I don't have a problem with that. I don't care how old my child was.
And the male teachers won't say nothing. They'll, which they shouldn't, but they feel very uncomfortable because they're like, this is a distraction.
They're loving.
Wait. Hold on, mistaken. Wait. I can't. I hear it, and I got to ask. Why shouldn't they say something?
Well, no, I'm saying I understand why they don't.
Let me ask a complete question.
I don't think they dislike it at all. I think they're enjoying the show.
No, it's not. It was a distraction to them.
Hold on. I'm asking. I know why they don't say something, because society has deemed it inappropriate for a man to say something like that.
Yeah, you shame it.
Why? Right, that you shouldn't say it. But why are you saying they shouldn't say something if they find something to be completely inappropriate and now shit is a distraction? Clearly, it's not just a distraction to them; it's a distraction to other men as well. Because
I think they should, but I'm gonna tell you why they don't, and I agree with why they don't, because they said this moment that they say something to a female student, then the first response is, "Why are you looking at me like that?"
Right, I thought you were talking about other faculty.
Oh, no. So no, I'm talking about other students.
Okay, my
bad. So they won't. And what they would do instead is pull a female teacher aside and say, "Can you go tell her to, cover up, or go to the office and change?"
Right.
So I definitely think that it's very appropriate for them to do so.
I agree with that. I just was mistaken. I was thinking, and no pun intended, mistaken. I was mistaken. I thought you were talking like them bars right there, double entendre, if you will. I thought you were talking about other faculty members, female faculty members, that men shouldn't check them. So
they should, but it's a double-edged sword with that too, because then it runs the risk of sexual harassment or making me feel uncomfortable in a workplace. So men have their hands tied. I have to give them where the props are due in terms of not being able to call women out when they should be able to be in a space to do so. So if in that level, if her principal pulled her aside and says something, he would have been well within his right to say that. Because although she's in the kindergarten class, when you're in elementary school is typically K through 5. So she's going to be seen by other students, in that school. She's going to be seen by other, males that are in there. And so it does become a distraction, and her superiors should be able to say something to her without the fear of them feeling like she's going to come back and say, "Oh, I'm being sexually harassed, or I'm being targeted because of what I wear." And unfortunately, that's the society that we live in. But the way that can be handled is you just set the rule across the board for everybody to say, here's a dress code. We can't wear jeans, or whatever. We got to wear slacks or whatever, And I've had principals, I've been in schools where principals have eliminated the jeans because women, I can't speak to the men. The men wore jeans and they were fine. It was mostly women who were wearing tight jeans or jeans with the rips in them, all of that kind of stuff. And the principal came in and said, "We're no longer having jeans. You can't wear any jeans."
Women, why are y'all women like keeping people single? Because this is kind of silly. Okay. You're right, Miss
Yeah, we can hear you.
That nobody, that I guarantee nobody can come up with.
Don't push nothing, Tay. Don't touch anything, Tay. Go ahead.
Put your hands in the air like this, so we know you ain't touching shit.
Yeah, right. Don't mute.
So,
Don't do nothing.
why are you ladies like this, bruh? Right? In places that your ass don't need to be doing this goofy shit. If you're at the club, I understand. Because if you're looking for a nigga in the club, well, dressed to get somebody to give you some attention, I get that shit. But in fucking elementary schools, I guarantee that not a single chat ninja can come up with a fucking story where a man was dressed scantily trying to show off his motherfucking dick print in the goddamn school. But
no, they wear muffer shirts.
But women will do the fucking most, bruh. Why the fuck are y'all like this?
You know, I think have an OnlyFans
for women to like just.
Doesn't she have like a only? She has something where she uses the preschool. I mean the kindergarten setting for whatever else she's got going on, like a sexy art teacher type of theme.
That makes it 10 times worse.
Well, you didn't say that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Kyle, you should have started the conversation with that.
I didn't know that.
Were there other pictures, Kyle? There were other pictures. Did you put those up?
I don't think there was another picture.
Who the fuck hired this hoe, bro? Who
hired
what I was gonna say was it's actually tough. You know, a lot of these schools, the admin and the principal, assistant principal, they're all women. So you know what I mean? You'll be hard pressed to find a man who's the assistant principal or a dean or whatever it is. You may go into a school, it might be 3 men in there, 2 of them are teachers. One of them is a principal. You know what I mean? So it might be tough to really, as a man in a school, to walk over to the female principal to say, hey, this female art teacher, I don't like the way she's dressed. I think it's inappropriate. The man will actually get more backlash directed at him and more support will go to the teacher than what we actually think. So, I mean, I don't disagree that people should dress professionally, but when it comes to a man saying, going to maybe an authority figure and saying, hey, I think this is inappropriate. These days, I think that man is kind of putting himself out there to bring some backlash back to him more so than the woman will get backlash on how she's dressed. Because again, it's going to be considered shaming. It's going to be considered sexual harassment. It's going to be considered all those things. We're supposed to accept this woman for what she does as an art teacher. And we, the adults, are supposed to be better than that, than not notice, even though the reality of the situation is that that's not going to happen. Like, it is a distraction, but we're all supposed to, since we know better, we're supposed to act and do better. But, so I think this is actually asking a lot for a male teacher, depending on what his seniority is too. And depending on how old they are, some of these teachers, 27 years old, they can't go to somebody and be like, you know what, I think that her pants are too tight. That's only going to make it worse for you, as far as my experience has been in some of these schools and how men are treated. But but I want to get Rio and go ahead, Rio.
I feel like we can't use that as an excuse to not protect our children. You know what I mean? There's some things that you should be willing to go out on a limb for. Children are one of those reasons, right? And if we are afraid to draw a line because of some sort of backlash, then hell, we don't even need to be a principal. We don't need to be leaders of anything.
Parents,
right? So we have to look at that. And I'll tell you, somebody brought up a good question about, okay, well, why are they this way? I think that part of what we're seeing in this society is we're seeing a very sexually and attention-driven society, no matter what the profession is, right? It's the in thing to be the hot whatever, right? So, for instance, if Kelly is in optometry, if she posts her lifestyle, right, and she's dressed in such a way that men might find it attractive, they're going to be liking those photos. They're going to be Googling, well, where can I find, when I need my eyes checked, where can I find Kelly, right? That's
where she work at.
Right? That's what we do. You know what I mean? It's not right. But when it comes to protecting our children, we have to have a different standard.
But isn't that what's always been done? You want to sell a car, you put a beautiful woman on top of it. Like, ooh,
yeah, no, it works. Sells. It absolutely works. It absolutely works. And it's
so don't say why are women like that? Men do.
Hold on. But then if the men
do use sexy women as a marketing tactic. That is
Right, but
Wait,
we're
wait,
still
wait, 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 wait,
cars,
wait,
but
wait,
we're
wait. Are
talking
you
about
making a
school,
parallel? Are you making a parallel between selling cars and then the women that are teaching and educating our
Right.
children?
I don't see the correlation.
Well, she's selling
There's
herself.
no
The art
parallel,
teacher,
brother.
the art teacher is selling herself in this particular instance. You know, the similarity is the sale of something. It's the marketing. It's just
Thank
what
you.
being marketed is different. But at
And
the
I
same time, I feel like
what my point was, you're saying that this is a society. Why are women like this? It's like it's always been like this. Women have always been the beautiful woman. You put them on anything, you'll sell it. But don't say, why are women like this all of a sudden?
Yeah, but
when did this become a thing? It's always been a thing.
But there's also always been a separation between the two, right? There's been a separation between where we put sexy women and how we put them out there, and the people that we have teaching our fucking children, bro. There's always been that separation. There's
Right,
never,
there's
never ever in the history of teaching until modern years has there been teachers out here trying to look fucking sexy. That just started when women became so over the top thirsty for fucking attention.
We're
Okay.
BBL.
Okay.
BBL.
So she Tay already made a point that she uses that as for one of her sex channels or whatever. I don't know exactly what it was, but so it's not all teachers out here looking sexy at school. When I go to school, I see a bunch of frumpy ass teachers. So I don't know what you're talking about. It's not.
That's fire. Hey,
teachers.
we love our teachers
doing
here
it
on the
for a
Lapeef Network.
We're in the BBL era.
So
Go speak on it, Tay. Go talk about it, Tay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll go
We're in
last.
the BBL era right now. You know the big booty models. And they're taking it on to their work, to their actual day job.
Is that okay? Do you think that we should accept that, or is that unacceptable? Like if everything is geared towards men, to Kelly's example, you put a sexy woman in front of the car, you put a sexy woman in front of a drink, and now we want to get that drink. Well, if men say we don't like that, then the woman can't turn around and be like, well, I'm getting all the support over here, so I don't even care what the men are saying. Like if we're saying that men are the one who like it, then if the men are the one who are saying that we don't like it, then what should be the response?
I think the only reason why men like it is more of like a fantasy, like, oh, it's big, they're picturing what they can do with it, but they're not picturing that person as far as like literally wanting to be with them, wanting to be in a relationship with them. These BBLs are getting out of control. As far as the kindergarten teacher, it doesn't even look right. Like, and it is a distraction, it doesn't look proportionally right, and then the kids, they're in the 3rd grade, they're old enough,
right, they're old enough to look and be looking,
right.
I
can
may not be able
picture them
to talk
cracking
about
jokes,
it. Right.
Recess, talking about the teacher's butt, cracking little jokes in class.
That Aunt Booty is real.
But she has like a lot of followers. I don't know if she necessarily has a OnlyFans, but
so do y'all think that this kind of thing is keeping, to go back to the question, on both extremes? Unfortunately, we always use Lizzo, but when it comes to a Lizzo body, or when it comes to this art teacher body, do you think it's fair to say that these kinds of bodies are keeping women single?
Yes. Hey, let me answer that. Yes. I talk to niggas a lot, and they fucking hate that shit.
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
think
saying. It's just a fantasy more.
You said what?
It's more of a It's more of a just a fantasy.
Yeah.
Fetish.
Yes. So let me dive real quick. Men do not like fat women. Let me say it like this. Men aren't vetting fat women for marriage. You can get fucked. Niggas are not vetting you for fucking marriage. Take your big ass to the fucking gym, knock them motherfucking LBSs off, and I guarantee the type of attention that you start receiving for vetting for marriage will change completely. And if there is a woman that was big in the chat, ladies, I'm talking to you. If there's a woman that is in the chat right now that used to be extremely big and lost a bunch of weight and noticed how the attention changed and how serious men were taking you now, okay? That shit changes. Now, to these women that are out here getting these fucking BBLs, all that says to me is a fucking woman screaming for attention. Hey, come look at me. Look at me. Niggas was probably looking at you before you went and did that goofy ass shit. But now that you went and did it, now niggas just want to fuck. You're no different from fucking Lizzo. Niggas will smash. Niggas is not wifing the woman who went and got a big fucking BBL.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Kels.
Why do they have thousands and thousands of followers? Are those women following them?
Some of them. Actually,
fetish.
Okay, so once again, there's that just what she said. I agree with that. That shit is a fucking fetish. Niggas want to smash these big BBLs, but even the mentality and the fucking mindset that becomes behind a woman that goes off to get surgery done to make her ass look bigger, her titties look bigger. It'd be one thing if you like, hey, I done had a bunch of kids, my titties sitting down on my kneecaps, right? And I just want to lift them bitches up. Men don't have a problem with that, right? I guarantee there are husbands that don't have problems with that. But if you saying to a dude is like, hey, I want to go out here and get my hips widened a little bit. I want to create that fucking gap in between my legs that I know niggas like men don't give a fuck about that shit. Y'all are foolish letting niggas fucking slice and dice y'all ass up out here, bruh. Stop fucking doing it. Get your ass in the gym. Stop taking the easy way out and tighten the shit up, bruh. It's that fucking simple, man. And if you agree with me, put a 1 in the fucking chat, ninjas. I don't make this shit up.
What I'm saying is, what my point is, you say people don't like it, but there are women making money.
I said men don't marry those women, Kelly. See, here's the issue. A lot of times,
but if the behavior is condoned,
no, it's not. You know why? Because all those women are fucking single. Listen, y'all are geeked up off of this fucking attention that I have these followers. Oh, cool. Not a single. Hold on.
And they're making money.
Not a single one of these niggas. Kelly, let's just be honest here. The majority of these fucking women that's got all these millions of followers with these big fake BBLs are fucking single. They're fucking baby mamas, and they're fucking like niggas are not vetting these hoes for fucking marriage.
But I know you keep talking about marriage, but a lot of these women are making more than the women on the panels that are regular.
What do you mean?
Yeah, but the women.
What do you mean?
Oh, boys, my fault.
Why would a woman stop if she is financially being cared for by the men who say they don't like it, but they're giving money and effort and time and attention towards the thing that you say you don't like? So if you don't like that, then stop supporting it.
They're just subscribing.
Here's the thing.
Subscription is $1 in a BBL's pocket.
Okay, so check this out, right? Because I got you. There are men that are out here spending money on those women to get some pussy. They get the pussy and they go on out the fucking back door.
Right. I'm not talking about the pussy. I'm talking about OnlyFans. You know there are people on OnlyFans.
I know what you're talking about, Kelly. I understand.
Why would they stop?
Kelly. I understand what you're talking about. You don't like the fucking answers. I'm giving you the answers, darling. Men will spend money on this shit because they want the pussy. And then that's it. If niggas are not out here getting pussy, they will spend the money on the fucking OnlyFans. But I guarantee that dude that's sitting in his fucking house, beating his dick to this fucking, whoever this woman is on fucking OnlyFans, that nigga would not even think about trying to marry a fucking woman like that.
I'm not talking about marriage, Quest. You're saying
why are you not why are you not talking about marriage? That is the fucking standard here.
And I understand that, but I'm saying I feel like you're not listening to me. I feel like
why
would a woman stop doing what she's doing if she is being compensated for that? If
Quest.
you don't like it.
Nobody's saying she should stop doing it. Nobody's saying she should stop doing it. And we already aware that she's not doing it for marriage. She's doing it for the money.
Exactly.
Nobody's advocating that she should stop doing it.
So
We're just saying there's a place for
like it, but you're still supporting her lifestyle.
Well, support it in the
go to
space
the
that
strip club sometimes too. You know what I mean?
Where these things are appropriate at, and we're supporting it where it's appropriate at, and we're not supporting it where it's not appropriate at. And if
it's like men paying for porn, or but they're not gonna. They don't want to wife the woman in the porn, doing the porn. They don't want to wife her. It's just for It's a fun thing. It's a,
I feel like these are half solutions though. If no more dollars went to BBLs, if no one subscribed to their channel, if no one hit the like button on their pictures, they would stop doing the shit because it would not give them what they were looking for. But you're still gonna go look.
We're not. No one's arguing against that though.
Hold on,
I think y'all just
say this real quick.
Hold on. Let me just try to get in here because I've been trying to wait. So
go ahead.
I haven't got a chance to speak on the teacher, and I'll be brief with that. On the kindergarten teacher, I feel like she need to put on a smock dress. A smock dress is a dress where it covers your body, but it doesn't allow you to suppress it against your body for anything else to protrude. Like and that's minus the waistband that goes around your waist. So if you're going to enhance your body like that, you need to compensate for the appearance that you're going to be portraying amongst people, especially in the workplace. And I think this woman specifically, I heard her speak on a reel in which she stated that, you know, there's a shortage in teachers. So for her to make that statement suggests that she was exploiting the system. And on the contrary, if there wasn't a shortage, she would be more mindful and careful of what she's doing. So making a statement like that just exposed her. Now on the reason of men, I think the other topic was about the reason men being single. So I don't believe it's based on a woman not matching the characteristics or the preferred body the man wants. I believe it's a man the main reason man is single is he's lacking competence, the ability to do something successful or efficiently, you know, his capability. So if you got to believe in yourself if you ought to accomplish something, especially if the failure rate at what you're trying to accomplish is a 50% failure rate, marriage in America. So if you want to increase the success rate, you need to build yourself up so you can possess the traits for a sustainable relationship.
Let me hop in real quick.
And one more thing. If I was to choose one between these two, between the two about having a woman that's got the character that I want versus or having a woman that lacked that and having a woman that had the body, if I was to choose one to be up to part between the character and the body, I choose the body to already be within that admiration and my admiration, and the character to be something I can help her build through time. Because I believe when it comes to women specifically, getting the body up to part, not to include surgery, but you know, gym commitments is much more difficult to accomplish than trying to fix her character.
Wait, like
so I can help build her character to shape it towards what I'm willing to deal with, you know what I'm saying, in a relationship. But that's why I would prefer her body to be already in line. So when I'm dating, my preference, that first layer is the body. I'm just to be honest with you. I'm not going to give you the time of the day or attraction if I don't see what I like. You know what I'm saying? So I want that to be a part. Now I can kind of peel back the layers to get to your character and personality. Well, see that dress? See how her waist is her dress? I don't know if y'all know what a smock dress is, but a smock dress compensates for the waist that don't be tight. It won't even fit on her like that. She can wear stuff. So this notion that these women trying to say is nothing she can wear, it is something you can wear. It's called a smock dress.
I never said that. I said there is.
Well, I'm just saying the reason why they posted those pictures is to create the narrative that it don't matter what she wear, her body is always going to be expressive. But that's not true.
Oh, we said these women. It's like
a woman who were criticizing a woman that she said was most of the women supporting her. Those women were saying that.
Can I ask?
So
can I ask
quick,
ladies?
Hold on, Quest. Go ahead, man.
So real quick, what Bruiser was saying in terms of her exploiting a system, I mean, that's happening. You know, you go into some of these dentist office, it's looking like Sue's Rendezvous with scrubs in there. You know what I mean? These body service women, these OnlyFans, dental assistants, these dental hygienists, with these BBLs while you sitting back trying to get your teeth cleaned, like it's going down in there. So they're escaping to these professions where they get some type of benefits. That's absolutely accurate. The next thing, Kelly, in terms of, saying men to support, there's always going to be a new hot person or something that is a fetish that men are going to follow. They're going to pay for. It's going to get tired and then they're going to move on. So this woman, you're saying men are funding this woman, they're paying for this. Yes, that's true. Initially, you're going to have guys that get on there and subscribe, follow her for about another 26 months and see what her money looks like. it's not sustainable. You know, you're the new hot thing on the block, or your teacher bay, your OnlyFans, we're subscribing. 18 months down the line, she's literally bringing in nothing. You know what I'm saying? At that point, she's probably prostituting to subsidize for all the money that, because once they're getting $1 million, they think that that's going to be what their income is for the following months. Once guys are done with you and you're no longer the hot thing, they're unsubscribing, they're not paying anything. So you're going to try to be compensating for, damn, I got this big house. Yeah, for the lifestyle. I hopped in this big house. I got these Benzes on Benzes outside in the driveway when I was making $1 million. Now I'm back to making $2,600 a month. I got to do something to pay for these things I done got locked into. And then boom, next thing you know, they getting flew out to Dubai and coming back to America with a brown chest. You know what I'm saying? So it's an ugly game out here, yo.
A brown chest. I'm gonna Google that. I don't know what that is.
So said that way for a reason.
I was gonna ask the ladies if there's anybody on the panel that has received any type of work done. But then I was like, well, you know what? That may not be appropriate, but I was gonna ask. But if you feel like answering,
I
cool.
would.
You don't want to answer.
I'm not against it. I would.
I haven't, but I'm not against a good judge. If you feel you need to pick up your titties a little bit, you breastfed and they're flapjacks, then by all means, I have no problem with that. But if you get
so I wasn't talking about,
and you look,
yeah,
and
you look Asian, I can't stand that look, yo.
I wasn't talking about like that because I'm okay with that, right?
I would do a mommy makeover.
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I have not had any work done. I can say that. I go to the gym though, and I wake up and I get on my Peloton and I work out to try.
I haven't, but I would. But I need to be like Cece and get her.
It's not easy, damn.
No, for real. I do. I'll take accountability for that. I definitely do. Not just in terms of looks, but just in health wise, just being healthy. And I've been making, some changes to start doing that. And I thank you guys, CC, Lauren, like y'all have been very instrumental in that. And I appreciate it.
I think that
the reason why I asked, and actually, I don't know if Tay or Kelly wanted to answer that.
Yeah.
I
got a tummy tuck.
Ooh, I want to do that.
And that's just when, after you have a child and they get a little wrinkly around your belly button.
The oatmeal pie that he was talking about.
That's logic. Talking about the oatmeal pies. I call it balls of homework, but yeah, oatmeal pie.
Balls of homework. Come on.
Yeah. So they just pretty much just like kind of just stretch it out to where your stretch marks aren't visible anymore. And so yeah, that's what I did. But I work out. It was just something that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to look good in a bikini, I just didn't like the wrinkly around the belly button thing. So yeah.
Well, we go on here,
Imagine Kelly. I just wanted everybody to answer the question, Kyle. Hold on now. Because
every conversation is not for the internet quest.
Okay. So the reason why, my bad. So the reason why I asked though is because I think that depending on if you have work done or like planned on getting work done or something like that, that may be the reason why you think or are in line with some of the shit that we've been talking about earlier, right? Or even like standing on the mountain of like talking about these women that like are OnlyFans women and shit like that. Like, man, like I get some of this shit now. Some of it I understand. Now.
I mean, there's also on the flip side too, there's women who lose weight and they have loose skin and they get that pulled. And you can't really say, oh, that woman shouldn't be nip tucked because she did the work in the gym and she has loose skin. So she decided that she was going to get her arms pulled or her stomach pulled or whatever, her legs. I just think it's getting a bit excessive when there's, I think there's a lot of body dysmorphia issues where there's just no satisfaction. It's like if you're getting a little bit of Botox here or a little filler there, cool. But when your titties start looking like you just look like I don't even. It just doesn't even look.
Earrings.
It looks
unnatural.
Where it doesn't look normal.
Right. You just don't even
Yeah.
look like a human.
When your titties start looking like earrings.
And I mean, from a male perspective, like I always hear, well, I don't know, because I'm not. Does it feel different? Like, I mean,
I know. Does it still have the jiggle?
Does
Like
it
when
still,
they get the
does it
BBL?
feel different when you're with a woman that has?
I don't know. I
never smashed a woman with a fake ass.
Never.
I've touched a fake titty before, and no, it does not feel the same. It's really weird.
So my ex-girlfriend had fake boobs, and they felt hard like bricks. And most men typically don't like that. We like the way it may look. I guess made more.
I don't know if all of them feel like bricks though. I think it depends on how you get it done.
Outfits, but that's just certain things. But overall, I mean, they ain't really fucking with that unless your titties is hanging down to your kneecaps and swinging around. You know what I'm saying? We're like, all right, you know, if you want to go and get something done, go ahead and get it done.
You must been dating a girl with the cheap boobs, because
right,
like that.
That's what I was going to say.
Brick boobs, like they're not all
You said what?
I said you must have been dating a girl with the cheap boobs because they're not all like that.
Yeah, and this was back in 2006 too. So, and I think her shits was probably older. Technology wasn't more advanced. Like we in 2022. You know what I'm saying? That was I don't even know.
They had time to perfect. Yeah.
We got another video here. So it's in regards to like getting aligned. So we're in our relationship. So we'll play this for you and we'll address it on the other side here.
We both come from divorced parents, and we said, do we just agree that our North Star is being happily married for the rest of our lives? Not married for the rest of our lives, happily married for the rest of our lives. Do we just agree on that? The answer is yes. Amazing. If we have the same goal now, we have to be aligned on how to get to that goal. Yeah. And that alignment means, do we agree that we're always going to be honest even when it's freaking tough? Yes. Do we agree that we will never apologize even when it's easier to say you're sorry and end an argument? Yes. Because what ends up happening is if you're just trying to shut the argument down, you're sweeping it under the rug.
It will come back
later.
It will
come back. And it's like just making sure that you do want each other to win. When you argue, most of the time you just want to win. And so we just said, do we agree that when we debate something, it's not about ego? And you got to freaking leave your ego at the door, because let's face it, it doesn't really matter who's right or who's wrong. If we both have the same goal, don't we just want to be aligned?
Alignment. Do you guys believe in that? You know, I think there was, we talked about it a little earlier about, I think Quest was talking about it, you know, leaving a little bit of ego out of some of the decisions that we're making with each other when it comes to relationship. So, and then even in regards to this question about just body dysmorphia and whatnot, just about how you see yourself and how you might see your partner in their body. Is it important to be on the same page in terms of your life goals and your self-perception and things like that? You know, how much do you agree with what she was saying?
Can I go first? Because I know whenever it goes around, it kind of it's hard to get in there because it's a question on top of a question whenever it get too passionate. So I would say yes. I would say the woman that's speaking is correct. You know, both parties, you know, they need to agree on the conditions of the relationship. Meaning both need to identify their roles in the relationship that allows the plan that's orchestrated by the provider to flourish in a way that's constructive for the marriage.
Tay.
Yeah, Tay, I'll get in there if we can hear you. Oh. Tay, we can't hear you.
Okay, so we probably need to let Tay go first with the next time.
Damn. But all right. So I guess the essential question is alignment, having alignment, like understanding. I think part of that, I'm not gonna say all of it because vetting is like the easy way out, but I think you need to know like what a person's been around, you know, to even have an idea of what their perspective is of marriage. You know what I mean? Because some people do think that it's supposed to be a happy marriage from beginning to end. And I mean, we're complex people, so that's never gonna be reality. You know what I mean? Everybody, even though you're working together as one, everybody is their own individual with their own complex history and plight and fights that they've overcame. So that's just not reality. And the crazy thing, like I've noticed, like life is just straight up balance. Think about everything we go through. Think about how you're great in one area, you suffer in the next. The most important thing about life is balance. I think that's what all of us are striving for, because whenever you're good or great in one thing, you look down, something is suffering. You may not always identify what it is, but something is suffering. So in a marriage, you have to figure out that balance. you know in a marriage, a man, or just in a relationship in general, a man wants to feel safe. You know what I mean? You want to feel what did she say, something about damn, I lost my train of thought. But come back. I totally lost my train of thought, yo.
Well, I mean, so I ask you this: do you agree, like, all the problems of a relationship come from being out of alignment? So I think she talked about, like, when you get into an argument and you want to win the argument instead of come to a resolution. Do you agree with that? Because I think a lot of times we just want people to get on our page, and it can be difficult to try to love and try to, make certain life goals in the same direction as someone else. Like, you might have certain career aspirations, while this other person, last thing they want to do is, have a life full of working. Or, this person may value, they may want to have 4 or 5 kids because they're really about their nurturing side. Whereas one other person may say, I want 1 kid and that's it, just a boy to carry on my legacy. And I think that it can be hard to stay aligned given, how life can come at you. So it seems like it's something that's easier said than done. So even Rio, want to get you in. I know that you have a long-term relationship. Do you think it's easy to stay aligned as life kind of comes at you, or how do you navigate through that?
I think bumps in the road knock you out of alignment, right? And it's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. Same with your vehicle, right? But you have to be on the same page when it comes to maintenance. You both must recognize that you're out of alignment and be willing to get the maintenance that's necessary, whether that means therapy, whether that means religious counsel, whether that means you can do it on your own with conversation, right? But to the idea of thinking that you're going to remain in alignment throughout that whole journey, I don't know that that's realistic. So, just recognition that, listen, there's going to be times where we need to get in realignment, and how will we react to that, and what will we do, right? And so that's my thought process.
Is it easy to see, or is it easy to tell when a person is going to be willing to constantly get realigned early on? Like, kind of relating back to our first question about, you can kind of tell who someone is when you first meet them almost. Is that an easy thing to spot on a potential partner?
I think so. This is part of the reason why I struggled a little bit with Bruiser's comment about choosing physical over character, right? Because I think that you have a long road ahead of you with a woman who lacks good character. You almost have to, you're volunteering to re-raise her under your value system. And if she's not willing to submit, then you essentially won't be in alignment, and you'll have a hard time getting into alignment, right? So you have to choose your battles wisely. And if you can recognize this, or what you should be able to recognize this before marriage, then you shouldn't compromise that by marrying somebody just because they check the physical qualification box.
Well, let me respond to that.
Vetting is really important, right? Conflict resolution is a part of that vetting, because we're not going to get along the whole way through up until the day of marriage, right? So how are we handling these issues ahead of time? They're not always big issues, you know what I mean? But sometimes even the smallest things. Go ahead, Bruce. I see you trying to jump in.
So first of all, the appearance and the body and the health and the beauty and the attraction, it's just the first layer. That's just getting me in the conversation. That's just getting me to that interest level I need to even consider whatever she had to offer me past that. So if I want to go further into it, yeah, the submission, figuring out whether she's submissive or willing to allow me to lead is priority as well. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those other layers. So I won't even waste time. And that's when I was talking about some of the questions you can ask can shrink that time that you feel like you're going to waste if you know what to ask. So if you know how to articulate your questions to align to what the goals that you're trying to reach as far as a family and legacy and all that stuff, then you won't be wasting so much time. So yeah, knowing that she's submissive and she's willing to allow you to lead and orchestrate the plan and all of that, yeah, you can deal with the character building, because then now you can grow together and you can, because me personally, from my experience, every woman I've ever been with her character has never, and her body has never matched up perfectly. It just never does. And then circumstances changes in the relationship too. Some people get injured, some people lose weight, some people get fired, all this stuff. So the reason why we have arguments is because now we got to come back to the table and renegotiate how we gonna get to the goal, because the trajectory we was on, it's just been dismantled. Now we got to figure out another way. And we may not agree on how to reach the goal. Yeah, we got the same goal, but we may not agree on the approach or the journey to reach that goal. She may have an idea, I may have an idea. And because I'm the leader and she's trusting in me, she just wanted to give her 2 cents. I'm like, hey, look, I see an easier way. I know you're the leader. I know I'm a lead. I'm gonna step back and let you do it, but just hear me out. And I don't think it's necessary to argument. It's just called communicating and just giving each other ease of mind and understanding on how things are gonna go after the hiccup or whatever whatever obstacle you run into.
I appreciate you putting that in context and providing clarity, because where my mind is with that, or was with that, was when we're talking about character traits, we always talk about, Lapeef, we talk about accountability all the time. That's a big one for us, right? So if, you don't like a certain tone, or if you don't like the way that I lead and direct and orchestrate things, and you're unable to take accountability when you make a mistake, and you won't let me realign or even put you back in line, right? That's not a character flaw that I want to deal with. That's not, I don't want to work with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to train you to this program. You know what I mean? You're not a good candidate, so to speak. So that's where I want to.
Sorry.
No, you better let her talk. You better hurry up and let her talk.
Microphone back.
Well, no, I was saying, yeah, attraction is the most, you definitely have to be attracted to that person. And then once the character flaw, once you're realizing that, you know what, me and her, or me and his alignment, we're not aligned mentally, then you end up getting put into a different type of, you kind of get put in the back pocket. And you're just wanted as just someone with a nice body and it's good sex, but mentally I can't connect with you, so it will not work. You have to literally be physically attracted and mentally attracted. It has to be both, for it to work, for it to be able to work. You have
one of the people will have to give up whatever their values are to get on this other person's page to make it work too. Because I feel like sometimes when you hear people talk about, I'm a breadwinner, so I should be making the decisions, that's not necessarily in alignment either. It's really like, I just demand you get on my page, and because I'm the leader and because I'm the breadwinner, I'll make the decisions. You just defer everything to me. So I don't know if you guys disagree or not. Mistaken, I can maybe throw it to you. Do you think that that's alignment as well? Like, okay, you're going to get on my page, you're going to move into my place, and you're going to adhere by the boundaries that I set. And if you don't like it, you can move around. Is that also alignment?
No, it's two things
If they choose to align.
that tie into your previous question about men being single because they're focusing so much on the physical and not necessarily the character. I believe it's the opposite. I think what happens is I think while most men do admire, nice bodies, I think they're single because they're not finding or finding it difficult to find a woman with good character. So I think that played not necessarily the body, but finding the character to match the body. And then in terms of like what you just asked about alignment, on Friday, we had just spoke a little bit about leadership before. And one of the things that I said is that leadership is not, and I know like men hate when women talk about leadership as if, you know, we shouldn't have any opinion on it or have any insight. But just, you know, in experiences, it will teach you. I grew up with my grandparents and seeing how their marriage worked, and it was till death do us part. So I, you know, based on what I saw, leadership and good leadership that work, leadership is not about taking control and just saying, get on my plan. It's more about influence. So your role isn't to dictate, but it is to motivate and influence others to do the right thing. So if you're moving in a way that it is showing that your decision making and in what you're doing can be trusted because of the results you have, that's influence, you know. And so it's going to make a woman want to follow your lead because she sees that what you're doing is working. But leadership requires that humility, kind of like what Quest said before about putting your ego aside sometimes and saying that, you know what, this is the way that I want to do it, but maybe this isn't the right way, and putting your ego aside and being humble and listen, you know, and understanding that sometimes you might be wrong, and that's okay. I think where the disalignment comes in is when you're so caught up in wanting to be right, kind of like what the lady was saying, and the goal is no longer recognize where we're on the same team. So let's figure this out, you know, together.
Did I hear you say something about women leading men?
No. I didn't say
Okay.
that.
Okay, my bad.
What I said is that men have a hard time when men give them feedback about their leadership. And when you're saying certain things, like women can have it, because it's not just about leadership within itself, it's about, can you lead me? If we're in a marriage, you're leading me along with the kids and everything else. So if you're leading with influence, you're going to take into consideration what leadership style you need to take with each person that you're dealing with, right? Like when you're dealing with children, you may have to respond to this child differently than this child. When you're responding to your wife is going to be different in the way that you respond to her versus your children. So as a leader, you have to basically influence each of those within your house, not by like what you say and trying to be controlling, but is because control is about being prideful and arrogant and seeking to have your own way. But when you're influencing, it's not about your way, it's about what's going to be the best for everybody within this you know, I guess, environment.
What do you think, Kelly, in terms of alignment? You know, and I feel like you have some very unique dating experiences. So I don't want to say that you might be hard to get aligned with, but I just wonder, you know, when it comes to trying to go in the same direction as a person you may be interested in, how important is that versus maybe submitting to whatever quote unquote leadership they may be given and you just getting on their page? Like, is it easier for you to partner with someone, or are you just getting on their page?
Why would you say that?
I mean, you know, you always say that you got, you know, people potentials, and a lot of the potentials don't necessarily pan out. And I imagine it might be just you have a certain expectation, you were raised a certain way, so it might be hard for a man to get you on their page because you just have a different experience. So I wonder how important it is the mental alignment is versus any other aspect of a relationship.
I think the mental alignment is everything. So you're right. Maybe I do have a different dating experience, but I think that plays a part in how the way my sisters and I were raised does play a part in how we date. So for me, I don't think it's hard for me to get on someone's page if it's a page I want to get on. So like when we talk about asking the questions, I want to know where you're headed, because I feel like if a man has no direction, how can he possibly lead me? If you don't even know where you're going, where are you taking me? So I do ask the question about your passions, your goals, your dreams, your drives, because to me, like where your mindset is most important. And if I can get on board, if I can support you, if I could see myself doing that with you, I'm on your team no matter what. And I know I have other things going on in my own life, but that's why I just don't randomly date just anybody, because I push my stuff to the side to make sure I'm supporting my man properly. And I don't want to just push myself to the side if it's not a guy that's even worth it, in my opinion. But if it's someone I trust, I value, I respect, I admire, I love them, it's team us. It's whatever you need. How can I help you achieve it? What are your goals? How can I back you to help you get there faster? That's how I feel when it's a man that I truly want to be with. My stuff just gets pushed to the side. I'll still do it, but it's like, what do you need first? Like, okay, I have this meeting, let me push it back so I can make this call for you. That's how I am when I'm with a man. So as far as unique dating experiences, I don't know about that.
Strict, I'm not gonna accuse you of anything, of course, but I'm just saying, I imagine that for some people it's easy to get in and out of relationships when things, get out of alignment. So I just wonder, does that mean that you have very specific expectations, or does that mean that the dating pool is trash? Like, how do you know, when you want to get aligned with someone? How strict on you on your own values? That kind of thing. Like, if you have a very specific set of requirements that a lot of men can't get on, then is it something that you need to rethink, or is it a sign of, the decaying of society? Just what are your thoughts just as you move through? Because you always say you have men approaching you, looking to shoot their shots all the time, but you're usually not going for it. And so I just wonder why that is. If they are otherwise checking all your boxes, what is it that keeps them from getting on your page or keeps you from getting on their page?
They have wives.
I know you got a boyfriend now, so I know. But I'm just saying, just in general, it's always
no other guy matters. I don't even care about other guys.
They had wives.
No, I have had men that have been married try to approach me. That's
no, I know. That's why I said that. Most of them shooting their shot at
guys,
you.
Not all guys are married. So I went out to dinner the other day, and I was by myself, but there were 4 men at the bar, and they all tried to shoot their shot. So it happens all the time, but I don't waste my time. I care more about your mental, like, can we connect mentally? Do I like the way you think? Are you a dreamer? Are you a go-getter? Like, those things matter to me more than anything else. It's your mind.
Kyle, Kyle, you know what this makes me think about is the fact that Kelly's experience growing up with a father and a father that was so hands-on with her, she has an idea of what a good man is to her. It's going to be somebody who resembles him, right? So what about the women who haven't had that? And if any of you on the panel kind of fit the bill, what's your experience in knowing what you're looking for in a good man?
Can I answer the question?
You can.
Go ahead, Kel. Let's go. Go ahead.
I'll wait.
No, go ahead, Kel. Go ahead.
Because you asked for the other one. I'll wait. I have the answer, but
yeah. I mean, CC, even though
it's not applicable. My parents are still married, 42 years, and I grew up in the house with my father. So so he asked for someone who may not have had that as an example, but I do.
Well, even I'll say for me, I'm thankful that I did have my grandparents, because I had an example of both. Even though I had both my parents in the household growing up, I didn't necessarily have a good example in terms of a father, in terms of what a good marriage looks like. So I was able to kind of see from my grandparents what a good marriage looked like, and then see from my parents being married what I know I didn't want, when I got married. And that's where I think my big thing on leadership comes from, is because my grandfather, he was a pastor. He was a preacher, I'll say, not pastor. He was a preacher. And his leadership style was about humility. You can tell when you went in that household who the head of the home was. But it was never a situation where you ever felt that power or that authority was abused, because he led by example. But the biggest thing is he led through servitude. And for him, it was, how can he best serve others in the home? And in turn, because of that, he cultivated an environment in which was nurtured by serving others in a home. So my grandmother served him, and in turn, us as the grandkids served both of them, and it was more, again, of influence and seeing how that works. I never saw them argue. I did see them have disagreements, but the way that it was handled, he did take the time to listen to her input. She respected him enough to value what he said, and then the decision was made. And she went along with what he said, because at least he took into consideration her value, her input on what should happen. And he weighed both and then made the best decision out of both people, giving input. Whereas growing up in a household that I had, it was what I say go, and that's it. And in that regard, there was a lot of, I'll say, not being in alignment, because no one man can make all the right decisions all the time without making some wrong ones or valuing. I think you should value you chose the woman, so you should trust that she's also going to have your best interest in wanting to see the family succeed as well. And I didn't necessarily have that. It was about his needs, his wants, and what everybody should be doing in order to support that, as opposed to it being, a family decision, not a family decision, but valuing input from his wife. In my marriage, what I can say is that my husband didn't grow up with his father, there all the time. His father left, when he was younger. But I think what we came in alignment with was the fact that both of us knew that if we get married, it's serious, and it is till death do us part. And so we set the foundation of trust, honesty, good, bad, or indifferent. And he was better at recognizing that everything is not going to be a fairy tale. So when we did go through things, I'm thinking that is on 10. Oh my God, our marriage is about to be over. Where he's just like, it's not that serious. We're going to go through stuff, But the bottom line is, we knew at the onset that this is forever. So we both agreed that there is no out for us. Like, we're on that same page. So anytime we are making decisions or we have disagreements, we do come back to the table to ensure that we are in alignment so we can continue going forward. So we're 19 years in. We just celebrated our 19-year anniversary like 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, what we're doing is working, but it's not to say that there isn't room for improvement. But both of us recognize that, and we're working towards improving each other.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. Go ahead, Bruce.
All
I
right,
know you
so
want to jump in.
So I also wanted to elaborate on something I also said, because I know it was may have been some confusion on the way I prioritize, how I, deal with women, or I approach women, or the process of getting from meeting a woman to being in a marriage, a lasting companionship. And the reason why I layered it that way is because, I believe beauty and health is the backbone of quality women, and the ribs are her character, her insecurity and her attraction. So if her beauty and health is not up to par, not of quality, then the structure begins to depreciate. So her character changes, meaning her personality becomes defined by how she appears and not being impressive. Her insecurity takes a hit. So the ultimate result of this effect make these women have unrealistic demands for the type of man they quote unquote deserve. So that's why I always say, and on my show, I always preach, a lot of women's problem is in the gym. To fix a lot of women's problems, just go to the gym.
So that mean I'm gonna get a ring soon?
Yeah.
Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think fixing all your problems is in the gym, but okay.
I said most of them. I said most of them.
For the initial
Going to the gym does not fix character. I'm sorry.
Are you trying to say my character?
I just broke down the structure. And whenever when a woman doesn't feel beautiful and she knows she's not beautiful, she don't look beautiful, it affects other things that reshape her personality and how she goes out into the world and how her character is. It does. It just does. And all this shit about women, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that's just a compromise. Too lazy, don't want to get out there and fix yourself. So you just look for the guy that's willing to deal with it.
So let me
all know.
My bad. I didn't mean to. Once you get my bad, I didn't mean to cut you, Bruce.
No, go ahead, Quest.
So I'm gonna have to disagree. Like I think when you initially made the statement on this, and it was like if I had to choose between the two, a woman that had the good characteristics of being a good wife, or a woman that was like in shape, you would take the woman that was in shape. I personally think it's easier. I think it's easier to get a woman in shape versus create or I guess trying to coach a woman to be like have the characteristics traits of a fucking wife, bro. Like
that's not what I said though. So when you word it like that, you make me out to you make my statement come off misunderstood, because I never went in detail on what saying that I don't want her to have the characteristics of being a wife.
You said
you were saying, you were saying the characteristics doesn't align with the desire or the admiration of the body. And I said a lot of times it ain't gonna line up. But if I had a preference as a first layer to peel back, it'll be her beauty and health. I would want that to be up to par initially, whenever I get to know her. And then I can start peeling back other layers. And maybe there's spaces where she's missing in her character that may need a man to be in there to help her improve on it.
So I agree with that statement. I agree with the statement of, yes, she has to be aesthetically appealing, right? Visually appealing to me in order for me to even fucking approach her, right? But like I said, when you initially stated this shit, and you go back and rewind it when we get done, it was like if I had to choose between the two, that's what you said. Now, if that's not what you meant, I get it. I ain't trying to beat you up. You my nigga.
But see, the only reason why I said that is because some people may get the impression that, I'd rather have her character up to par, and then she can go work on her beauty and her body and her health later. I was saying I would rather have the reverse. And then once I get to see her character and start to understand who she is and her personality, then, we can work on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe, I believe, me personally, I believe a lot of these women don't have the characteristics of a wife until they meet a man to know how to be a wife. Especially in the Black community, a lot of these women are not training their daughters up to be wives. They're just not. They're training their daughters up to be like men, to take on masculine roles, and they're putting their marriage at the end, and they're putting their career and their goals and their achievements and their accomplishments in the forefront. So they're learning how to be wives. They're getting taught after they accomplish their goals.
Actually,
that's just how it is.
Actually, I think their moms are teaching them that because, like we all know, 81% of our actual kids in our community are born in single parent households. So they're being taught that by their mothers. So not by the men. I think the women are the ones that are teaching them how to go out here and be independent and go get your bag, girl. Fuck these niggas and da 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 da. We already touched on that to ad nauseum, right? The men aren't teaching that. That's their mom.
But there's two ways you can teach it. You could teach it verbally, or you could teach it by your own actions on what you're doing as a woman. How are you showing your daughter this is how you want her to be? She need to be married and she need to have all of these qualities, but you don't even have a husband. You got multiple baby daddies and you don't have nothing going for yourself. It's kind of hard to teach that by just saying, hey, this is what you need to do.
Agreed. Like, right, you have to demonstrate, you know what I'm saying? But for the women that are out there, like, look, don't be discouraged, ladies that are out there that have kids and you're in a single parent household right now and you want to teach your daughters how to be wives, right? There's a way to do that, even though you are not that. Now, granted,
you guys
if we would have done this thing, let me finish, Kelly. If we would have done this thing the proper way, right, which a lot of us are guilty of, if we would have done it the proper way, then yes, we would be able to demonstrate that. but that doesn't mean that you can't teach it now, right? You can still teach it because we still have a bunch of daughters that are out there right now that need husbands, right? We're trying to continue to make this fucking we need to create a fucking community, because I agree with Dusto. I don't think we're necessarily a community. I think we're just a group of fucking people, and we all look the goddamn same. But yeah, if we want to continue our community on or create a community dynamic, we need families, bro. So ladies, if you're out there, teach your daughters how to be wives, even if you may not necessarily be one.
But you guys constantly can contradict yourselves.
How?
Yeah, please explain how we did.
Because you say that women, that they say don't marry the single mom, but then you want the single mom to teach her daughter how to be a wife when she cannot teach her because she does not know. She needs to be married, but you're telling people don't marry the single mom. So
I said that, of course said that. I don't remember saying don't marry the single mother.
I'm sorry. I've been on a lot of panels and
yeah, no. So I would say that is the general. Kelly's right. Kelly is right. That is the general consensus that we give. There are some outliers, right? Like I got homeboys that's married women that were baby moms or ex-wives or whatever. You know, but overall, typically, I don't think there's a single woman on this fucking. How many women on the? Let's do it, gangster, right? Kelly, do you have a son or a daughter?
I have a son.
Would you encourage your son to go and marry a woman that has a bunch of kids?
I would encourage him to marry the woman that he falls in love with, that will treat him right. But he's with his dad now, so his dad will probably tell him not to marry a woman with kids.
We don't teach that on my panel. We don't teach men to not marry a woman who has a child. If it's your preference, if y'all can make it work and it align to what the goals y'all want to achieve as a couple, then go ahead and do it.
I think this is a black.
I don't know where you got that.
I have a lot of Caucasian friends who have children who get married. 3 children, 4 children, divorced, and they still get married. I don't think other races are telling their men not to marry the women.
So I think
women aren't doing that shit. Hold on, Rio. I gotta say this, bro. Women in these other communities are not doing it at the same rate as we are doing it in our fucking community. I just said 81% of our fucking kids are born in single parent households.
Do you have a lot of Caucasian
You can't say that statistic is true about any other fucking race of people in the goddamn world, bro. You cannot.
But see, I understand that men are gonna do what they want to do. That's just man being a man. So whenever I tell a man, so if a man doesn't have any kids, I make it clear, like that's a hard pill to swallow. That's a hard a task to take on, marrying a woman who has a child or multiple child. But they still reserve the right to be able to look at it on their own and make the decisions on their own. But we do preach, hey, look, if you don't have any, if you like a man who has kids, yeah, I think that's a better compatibility. A man that has a child and a woman that has a child, that's probably a better compatibility versus a man that doesn't have children. He's taking on a woman with kids. So, but at the end of the day, it's your own preference, man. People still reserve the right to decide on their own.
Well, let's get to some of these super chats before we get to the meat of the topic today. So going back here, I'll just read them out. So BZ, formerly Baby Zaddy, thank you for the $5. Ladies, you can bring all the non-tangibles in the world. If that head game is weak, that might be a deal breaker. So I guess that just goes to show, you can be everything except superhead and still it all fall apart on you. So just
that nigga tripping. Hey, that nigga tripping, bro.
Shout out to Tia Marie. Thank you for $1.99. Quest, what is trash box? I think we all know what.
Tia Marie, you triggered?
Excuse me?
Hold on, you triggered? All
right. John the Baptist, thank you for the $10. When it comes to sex before marriage, women always lose. Women should always let men, fathers, uncles, brothers, and true men of God vet for you. Women should look for security, emotional and physical. Another one from John the Baptist. Thank you for the $20. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands. That's the word of God, be not blemished. Oh, blasphemed. That is Titus verse 2. Shout out to Baby Zaddy again. Thank you for the $5. I have a solution. Let male teachers wear hoochie daddy shorts to work. Real quick, what are y'all thoughts on that? You got Mr. Johnson showing up to teach music class in them thigh cutoffs. You know what I mean? He a heterosexual male, whatever it is. Any issue with that at all? CC, I'd love to hear from you. You walk up. You know, your kid's second grade. I don't know if you have any children, you might not, but you walk up to the school, you see a man in hoochie daddy shorts in the middle of May. What are your thoughts?
Daddy should not be wearing hoochie daddy shorts. It's going to be the same. Applies. The woman should be wearing something that's appropriate for work, and so should the man. I'm not going to be like, ooh, his thighs. And personally, I don't want a man who's wearing hoochie daddy shorts in the first place. I don't find them attractive, but to each his own with these trending things that are going on. That's up to you. I personally don't really care for them.
Should his job be in jeopardy behind that? Like, should he be like, fire that dude? Like, would you support him being fired if he?
I would support him. Someone talking to him like a principal or someone telling him like, it's not appropriate to wear for work, similar to the woman. And I don't have children, so that.
Kyle, what are you doing, bro? This is not even normal for men. Why are you even creating this ridiculous?
I just wanted to hear.
That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question because men are probably going. It's a good question, man, because I feel like I feel like one of the teachers should try to do that to prove a point.
No, nigga,
to see if they're gonna get the same criticism.
No, nigga, we're talking about our fucking kids, bro. What are we doing? We trying to do experiments at the fucking sake of our kids? Let's not and say we did. Please. That's crazy. What are we talking about right now?
Toya T. Shout out Toya. Thank you for the $1.99. Women demand so much respect, while on the other hand, disrespect themselves daily. Being a lady is not solely defined by female body parts. Mothers, teach your daughters, representation matters. #class. Shout out to Toya on that one. Shout out to Javon Ward, a new member. Round of applause. Thank you, Javon. Shout out to Eugene Steele. Thank you for the $5. The idea of being in alignment is the key to a healthy relationship, especially in struggle love situations. I'd agree with that. If y'all down and out a little bit, you definitely got to be aligned on what your life goals are, what direction you're going in, because you're already surrounded by struggle. You can't be at odds with each other and be at odds with your situation. So I agree with that. Shout out Eugene. JW, new member. Shout out to him. Appreciate you. Welcome. Shout out John Baptist again for the $5. Leadership is always taking control and responsibility.
Hey, hold on, real quick.
Speak on it.
Nurse Fancy, you got some issues with me? Watch yourself,
Don't
dog.
read the chats, Quest.
No, fuck that. No. Hey, Nurse Fancy, if you got an issue, come hop on the panel, baby. Don't do this shit here.
Quest,
if you got a fucking issue, come on the panel, bro.
No, stay here, Quest. You're not supposed to even read the chats. They talk shit about everybody. Like, just, like JR says, we are characters. Like, just.
Because Sean Gates been going in. I ain't saying nothing.
Hey, Quest, no, man, not on the day of your birthday.
Listen. I'm gonna just say this.
That's Thursday energy.
I'm gonna just say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not a character, and all y'all niggas that were at Atlanta knows I'm not a character. Everything you see on this fucking camera is the same shit you got in person. I'm not a character. This is me.
That's not what I mean. I mean, like, how you would turn on and watch a reality show, or how you would turn on and watch your favorite soap opera. They're just watching a show. Like, they're gonna talk. Just let them talk. Just ignore it. They talk about me. I'm not sad about it.
I just wanted to quantify some of this silly shit she's saying.
No, don't quantify it. Don't even acknowledge it.
Quest is not.
Don't worry. I'm the most masculine, toxic woman ever. Don't worry about it, Quest. These people don't know me at all.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
That's
and
okay.
can't be
That's okay.
led.
Don't even, just
So-
exactly. Like just
Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. So shout out Jason C. Thank you for the $5. What are the characteristics of a good follower? Leaders are criticized, but makes a person qualified to. But I imagine it says what makes a person qualified to follow. Quality followers are essential.
A good listener.
Yeah. And shout out again to Honest Citizen Czar. Thank you for the $14. Don't marry single mothers, please, fellas, for your sake.
I mean, if 81%,
I don't think it's 81%.
your pool is just
It's a
smaller.
lot. But it's,
Right, 19% of people then don't have children. So you're going to say, I'm not going to search in this pool of the majority?
No,
it's
I'm
a
saying
ridiculous statement that only black men say because I have
that
had offers
statement
from every other race of man. Like I've never heard this outside of.
And I already told you why, Kelly. I told you why, because it's not an astronomical number or statistic like 81% in other races. That's why you don't hear other men talking about that in other races.
No,
right?
I'm saying me personally, as a single mother who is black, other men of other races try to date me. I've only ever heard this from black men.
Kelly, are they trying to date you and vet you for a wife?
Yes, Quest.
Why are you not married?
Oh, I have a boyfriend, so that is where we're headed.
Hey. We got a couple more here. Shout out to was that Grizz Treats. The reason this consensus is because women don't feel the need to compensate anymore. You should treat Lizzo like Beyonce. You should pay for the nook, her baby, and the sitter, and let her listen to you when she feel like it.
That is what society
and
is.
also, just because a bunch of guys want you doesn't mean you want that guy back. That's the whole point of the alignment conversation. You don't align with 1,000 people, but you may align with 2 out of those people. 2 people out of the 1,000. What does that mean? Because a guy likes me. So what? I have to like him back.
Well, that's just the start.
Well, that last one here. Shout out to JW for the $5. So you can ask the panel, if a man married a woman with 3 kids and she leaves him, what is the man supposed to do?
Cry.
That's all he can do, it sounds like.
It's nothing you can do.
Well, just as a reminder, again, appreciate everybody for tuning in to LAPEEF Sunday. Please like and subscribe to the video. We do have Sage Talk today as well. We'll probably get to that at about 3:30. So with that, we got one more video that I'd love to hear your response to.
Hold on. Before you do, Kyle, how the likes looking right now?
How we looking on the likes, y'all?
Yeah,
Chat, how we looking on the likes? Chat ninjas.
146.
Hey, we gonna have to goddamn chat ninjas need to assemble and get them motherfucking likes up on the Lord's Day. Please get the likes up, chat ninjas.
Yes, and everybody watching, you may not be a member or you may not be part of the Green Gang, but a like is free. Anytime you come in and see any of these panels on the LAPEEF Network, shout out to JR. He's at the helm of this whole network, and we want to show him love as many ways as we can. You don't have to become a member and pay every month. You don't have to get in the chat. You don't have to do all those things, but liking is something that we appreciate. It's free. It don't even take a second to do. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody during the week. Everybody on the panel.
Hey, Logic say you better read his super chat. Hey, and big shout out to Malevolent Elephant. You know what I'm saying? I always fuck that up. Hey, General Logic, we're gonna have to come up with a damn rank for Malevolent, because that nigga might have to be the chat ninja goddamn, I don't know, treasurer or some shit. Cause that nigga be throwing that bread around. You hear me?
Not treasurer.
Hey, shout out to Mr. Logic, man. I don't see his super chat up in there anywhere.
It's there.
Hey, General Logic, send that super chat again. He said he don't see that shit.
I'll get to it though, Mr. Logic. I'll find it though. But shout out to you, man. You always dropping jewels on us too. Appreciate that. I'm gonna find that. We're gonna play that. But the last topic before we wrap.
Do you realize that men get angry when you out-talk them? That your tongue is your weapon and that you can win the battle and still lose the war? The right word spoken by a good woman in a bad situation can make a man fly. You know how you are about your children, come hell or high water?
Right.
I'm down for you. Well, most of us had that with our mothers. And then we marry you. and we watch you give it to your children. And this is what I want you to understand. I'm not blaming you for where they're broken, because they were probably broken in some way when you got them. I'm telling you how to minister to the brokenness without emasculating the patient. Okay? If you got a man that life has beaten and he comes home to a woman holding a whip, don't be angry when he looks beat down.
So what do y'all think, in terms of, and I would love to hear the ladies' perspective on this to start out. What do y'all think in regards to y'all words being weapons, speaking life into your man? Now, okay, so y'all are on alignment. Now, how do you continue to make sure that y'all speaking life into him?
You want to let Tay try to go first?
Yeah, Tay, how we looking on your mic?
That's a no.
She trying.
Because you're a damn mouth.
But what do y'all think, ladies? Cece, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Just speaking life into your relationship, into your man. Do you realize even when y'all into an argument, people like to say the man is trying to argue from a position of logic. Ladies more argue from a position of emotion. So do you even realize that your words, because they're so emotional, can be weaponized in a way that maybe a man's words may not necessarily be said?
Absolutely. I've always been taught that your words can cut and your words have power, and your words should be chosen wisely, even when you're angry, when you're not. My mom is very soft-spoken and tempered and completely opposite of me sometimes. But she's definitely an image and a mirror of somebody who, of course, has been married for 42 years for a reason. So I absolutely believe it's important to speak life into your partner, to encourage them, not emasculate them, not talk down to them, because I think no man wants to be in that type of situation. We talk about this on Astute Critique, actually, on Friday. I think Della brought it up about, it's important to learn how to communicate even when you're angry, because those are going to be the times where women tend to try to say things that cut. Like, you ain't shit, or that's why I make more money than you. Like, you really can't say nothing to me because X, Y, Z, or they're pulling things to, do low blows. For me, what I do, I step away because I know that my words have power. So I'm a person who steps away, calms down before I have conversations when I'm upset, when I'm truly, truly upset. So absolutely. And I think it's also important, even on the flip side, like if your spouse or somebody is doing something, that you encourage them. Like, you're doing a good job. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate what you're giving me. Even if it's not something that, just as simple as coming home, clean the kitchen, something like that. You know what I mean? Or fixing your tires, things that they don't have to do, but they
Words
do.
of affirmation.
Yeah, just making acknowledgement, exactly, to the things that they are doing in your life, even if it's not like something big. So yes, words of affirmation. So like Quest said, it's a choice. It's a choice, and I think that's a way of showing love as well. Like the words of affirmation, you have to say those things. Like, yes, you're a wonderful man because of X, Y, Z, and I think that goes a long way.
Kelly, what are your thoughts? We'll let y'all ladies take us out.
What was the actual question?
Just speaking life into your relationships, and do you realize, let's say in the middle of an argument, that the words you're using them to weaponize them? Or, what are your thoughts on that?
So I was always raised that words have power, and in life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you can either, in the same moment, you can either uplift someone or drag them down. And especially if a man is going through something financially or mentally, he has a problem. I always say that he already has to fight the world. He shouldn't have to come home and fight his woman too. He should feel like when he gets home, like, okay, finally I made it. I made it to my safe haven. But a lot of men don't feel that way. That's why they sit in the car in that moment between work and home, because they don't even want to go inside, because it's like, okay, I have to gear up for another battle. Versus like, okay, I've come to my safe haven. This is my oasis. I can rest and have peace here. So I do believe your words can edify. They can uplift. They can even like charge a man to go take over the world. Like, okay, now I can go face the world again because I've been recharged. My battery's on full again once they leave the home. So, and I got to experience that with my mom and dad. So it definitely is a huge difference versus your man coming home and like, okay, now I got to deal with you. So that's my 2 cents.
Miss Taken, what do you think?
I think it goes back to kind of like not what you say, how you say it. And also, I think it matters a lot in how you see your man as well. I think how you
Excuse me?
Yeah, like how you view your man matters, right? So if you are always focusing on, because everybody falls short in something, but if you're always focusing on what he's not doing, you end up overlooking all of the things that he do. And when you do that, what ends up happening is you're not speaking life into him. You're not, encouraging him in ways that he's going to need in order for him to thrive. I remember one time I had spoke about intentionality. I remember earlier on in our marriage, my thing was always noticing the things that he did that get on my nerve. And I constantly voiced that, but not necessarily focus more on the things that he was doing. And one time we had a conversation and he was like, listening to you, I never do anything right. And so that kind of made me feel bad because I'm like, that wasn't my intent, but intentions don't matter when you feel a certain way. So in wanting to be a better wife to him, when I began to notice all of the good things, and that was where I put my focus, it was easier for me to not necessarily, let's say, ignore the weaknesses, because I think it's important for both of us to grow in areas that we need growth. But those things didn't seem to matter as much when I was intentional on making sure that I saw the good things that he brought to the table, the good things that I valued about him. And in that, I was able to create a safer space to speak life into him. Not only that when the areas of weakness needed to be discussed, because he realized and know that I value him in all of these other areas, that when we spoke to the weaknesses and where we need to get better, that he was definitely much more receptive, not only receptive, but took action to make those areas better. Uh-oh, whose house is that?
Hey, Kelly, your house on fire, baby?
Right over there, Kelly.
Now we see why she ain't married. She burning the food.
Hold on, I'll be back.
No, yeah, go mute, nigga.
Kelly frying chicken. And she
Kelly,
ain't
can you look? Did you open a window?
Hey, ladies, let that be a lesson. You should not be trying to fry chicken and goddamn sit on Lapeef and Sundays at the same damn time.
Oh, how I wanted to cook, and I'm like, I'm gonna be
So I was just saying, I really think it's important to nurture the potential, focus on the potential, as opposed to the things that one may not be doing, because I think that creates a better space where a man wants to do even better. So that's what I've learned.
Hey, what I'll say is, I know we're about to wrap up, Kyle. Actually, did you get through all the ladies?
Tay, can you talk?
Okay.
Tay, how's your audio?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yay, Tay! At the very end.
Only thing is I couldn't hear the video.
Yeah.
It's just talking about like the power of your words. It's like you could either build a man up or tear him down in the same moment.
Hey, you're sideways.
Right
While
across
she's
the
working out her
bottom
technical
screen.
difficulties. While she working out her technical difficulties again. Tay, I need you to get it under control, baby. But listen, that's one of the things that I absolutely love about my wife, is that she speaks life into me. She's always there trying to say encouraging words. And then like when I say like when I hear it as a man, it's like it's kind of one of them things like that's like a I know I'm on task type thing, right? I might already had it in my head, or sometimes because I'm human, there might be some doubts. Am I doing what I should be doing? Because we doubt at times. We're human, but when we hear those words of affirmation, like yeah, nah, you know, I'm glad that you're my husband, or you know, thank you for being such a great husband. Thank you for being such a great father, you know, to our son, da, da. You know what I mean? When you hear those things, it's like, man, like I'm on track. I'm on the right fucking path, right? And this is just confirmation from my wife, or reassurance, may it be. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, that ladies, that man, you have so much power in that tongue, right? On many levels, but on the level we talking about, we're trying to be adults here. You know? You have so much power there, man. Please don't abuse it. Please don't throw it away. Use it to uplift. Use it to, you know, create life. You know what I mean? Speak that life into your man. Especially if you chose this man. If you chose him.
That right there.
You can't
right,
sit
do
here.
yourself a favor and speak life into that.
You can't sit here and talk a whole bunch of shit and down the nigga that you picked.
Right.
That don't make no goddamn sense, ladies.
Yeah, that's what was saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, shout out to y'all. I appreciate it. Again, thank y'all in the chat too. Shout out to Tay. She been sitting sideways for half of the show. The other half mic wasn't working, so we're gonna pray for you, okay?
Hey, Logic gonna start a fund for your internet, girl.
Hey, and shout out to Mr. Logic. Ladies, do oatmeal pies have an expiration date?
I don't have one, so
don't answer
that.
Nah, why they can't answer it? Shit.
All right, so
I don't have one. I can't say. That's how you can answer it.
You a dumbass nigga.
Hey, well, look, again, appreciate y'all. Bruiser, Quest, CC, Jay, Tay, Kelly, King Rio, Mistaken. I appreciate y'all coming on Lapeef Sundays.
Thanks for having
Please
me.
come back. Hey, and go over to Sage Talk starting in about 2 minutes. So please go over there, learn you something new today. Otherwise, again, this has been Lapeef Sports. Appreciate y'all. Anybody else? One last word before we get out of here?
Yes, it's my birthday, and I'm about to go get
Happy birthday, Quest.
Small, like do a sandwich.
I don't make fried chicken. I never have. I don't even know how to. Sorry.
Can you cook, Kelly?
Yeah, I can cook, but we're not allowed to have fried things in my house growing up. It's unhealthy. So I don't eat fried chicken, nor do I make it. Sorry. You guys
shout out to your parents, Kelly. They you know, they was on it.
I heard y'all talking about the fried chicken thing. I had to comment.
Can I say, listen to She Critique on Fridays at 9 p.m.
She Critique Fridays. All right, y'all. Appreciate it again. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe on your way out. Otherwise, go to Sage Talk. Peace.
Quest, enjoy your trapeze, man.
Bye, everybody.